also got the flame. Michigan bros, folks. Just wanna throw something to smoke. Michigan Bros Show. Michigan Bros Show. Michigan Bros Show. Michigan Bros Show.
Welcome to the Bro Show Live. I'm Skilbo One.
I'm
Panel is
Stephen.
assembled.
I'm
Cheers,
a little
everybody.
disappointed with the fade on that one.
I know that was kind of a shit fade.
Right.
I'm just gonna walk on by it, but you
Apologize.
Damn, 2 weeks in a row they're giving
Appreciate
me
you,
shit
Skilbo.
sequence.
No, last week the fade was great.
Yeah,
Yeah,
last
last
week
week
the
had a
fade was
good one.
money.
So when you do
Not
it
sure
good
what
like
happened.
that, you raise the expectations.
Then it
and
was-
then
Maybe it was the
And
week
then you
before.
I had
crush
to
them.
bring you guys back down to reality real quick.
Time flies.
Yeah.
New year, new me. We turned over a new leaf and got the same old shit fade. Welcome back to the Bro Show Live. This is episode number 127. That's pretty crazy, right?
Yeah, man.
Holy shit.
Let's
Getting up
see.
there.
Thank you all for joining us.
It's
Make sure you join us in live
254
chat.
hours.
Live chat, not the top chat. A little live chat action. I'm going to check out our sponsors: Dick's Medibles, Madame Euphoria Farms, 2020 Mendocino, Tiki Madman.
Red, you said 254 hours, but you forgot all those late sessions and frugal forces
Not
and all the other good
including.
That just
content.
means just this one.
Yeah, just this one.
That's
Just this
insane.
I don't remember how many hours the show's been on. I could probably figure that out, but I was looking at our
I mean,
metrics.
it's enough to cover trim jail.
Our overall views and stuff, we're almost to 500,000 views. That's pretty
Great,
great.
man.
We're pretty honored to have the following that we have. So we appreciate all of you guys out there, especially the members and the Patreons. We'll be getting. I can't breathe. I did a huge dab in the intro, and I can't. I'm like struggling. We'll get Ed's book out to one of you guys here very shortly. I'll do a drawing of all of the green names and all of the patrons. I'll put you together.
And for anybody watching, what do the green names mean, Sequence?
That's our YouTube members. They got special emojis or emotes and stuff like that. We can see how long they've been following and that sort of deal. They help us do fancy stuff on the show. So it's very nice of them. Let's see. What are we going to talk about today, guys?
Hey, before we get rolling, I just want to make a quick announcement about Polarity Science if I can. I want to
Mhm.
give a big thank you to everybody that does tune in. I wanted to say this. Anyway, it's funny that you brought up subs and numbers and stuff because we're going to hit 420 subs soon, man, which is
Oh,
awesome.
yeah.
We're actually
Oh,
about to
yeah.
hit 400 subs, We're like 398 or something like that, which is phenomenal, man. And that's everybody who tunes into the show. And I just want to thank everybody for coming and subbing and tuning in. We moved time slots from Sundays after this show. We will not be on tonight. We will be on Thursdays at 9 p.m. Eastern time. We did a little move. The 4 hours tend to drag towards the end of the Polarity Sciences. We're a little bit high
tired,
at the
a
end,
little
right?
loopy.
A little high, a little tired, a little loopy. The edibles have kicked in. The doses have, continued on. It's just like, and sometimes we're just going for 5 hours straight, especially.
Well, yeah, and I'm
solo,
curious. It's probably fatiguing on the viewers and you guys as well.
Yeah,
We've gotten a lot
So-
of good feedback from people that have said, "Man, I really appreciate you guys moving the time. I really wanted to check out the show, but I can't stay up that late."
Sure.
So
Yeah.
it slides into a 9 p.m. slot like all of our other things, except for the late session.
Most
9 really is the
common
magic hour.
question, or the most common comment, if you go back through, is I wish I could have watched it live. It's too late. Blah 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 blah.
There was a different energy this time.
and we need chat.
It's
Exactly,
better.
it's much better.
More energy.
Just like with this show, we need chat. We feed off of it. We get comments, questions, whatever. The show just rolls on a lot better. It's more of a sesh, man. Everybody's in there. Since I am rolling up and you're all seeing this card, this isn't a credit card or anything fancy. Amazon gift card. I used to use iTunes gift cards. Any kind of gift card that's not plastic. These are like paper, cardboard are the best to like kind of scrape your stash with. You won't get static stuck all over the place.
So,
Most
like,
importantly,
business
you won't
cards and
you
stuff.
won't push it. Yeah, you know how you like magnetically push your stash
Static tank,
across,
baby.
Yes, yeah. So this will actually like help you like scoop. I like to use this for scooping to roll a joint, basically.
Pro tip.
Do the old. You can get the old. Are you gonna spot like me? You can get the old scoop on the tray.
Scoop and dump. Oh,
And it-
shouting
and
out to the
it- and it
chat.
doesn't really stick on there. And this is
Sure,
used. so you're not
serial
gonna take
number.
my
So
number.
I took your
Yeah, it's
it,
already
yeah.
used. It's gone.
too late.
How old is
He
that?
got that Celine Dion with
Uh,
that, bro.
Christmas time. Christmas.
This year?
It does have Santa on it. Yeah.
I like the same thing, but I got a raw one from
Raw
I
one,
don't remember where I got it.
Ooh,
Raw artisan tray packs come with little
Okay.
trays like that too.
Thank you,
That's probably
Delta.
right.
Not the same one, but very very similar.
This one is
Yeah,
kind of plasticky,
lower.
but the stuff doesn't stick to it very much. I guess there's a little bit on there.
Yeah.
I actually
But-
normally use a Red Setter Farm business card, but he missed that opportunity for the shout out by a day. I literally just threw mine out because it was getting too used.
little floppy.
That's
end.
what happened with those ones.
At Painted Lady's
I do
house,
some
we
more.
use one of Kara's stickers as a scooper.
Okay, well,
Believe it or not.
they're in spirit.
Actually, I have so many old business cards I could probably give them away to everybody, so you can just cut them up to use for joint tips. That's what I should cut them up for everybody and give you guys all like business card joint tips. What do you think of that? You can like put a bunch of joint tips together and it's a business card. If not, you don't want to do that, just roll them up
You
and
guys have a
smoke them.
perforator out there where you work?
Oh yeah.
Hey,
Give them the sequence and have them perforate them. Then
Make
it'll be
some-
real easy.
Make some blotter art. Is that what you're saying?
I gotta have.
I do-
I do
glue.
hand perforated blotter art. I got a little hand wheel that I.
With
It's a
a
ravioli cutter, Reg.
Oh, dude, you got to lay down a ruler, and you got to have a fucking. Well, you either got to have the grid lines drawn out on your paper already, or you got to be on a specialty paper, or on a mat that has. I'm actually one right here. That has the
Exacto
lines
mat.
on it. Yeah, an Exacto mat. There you go. And then you gotta have the right kind of perforator, and you gotta. If you slide off that ruler and you go into your mat, you're done. You have to get a whole new sheet going. Art
Those are
purposes.
expensive when you buy them at
Art
the road show,
purposes
too.
only. Yeah. I like
Painted
making
Lady, we're
water.
getting chat feedback that you're talking while you're muted. So I don't
Oh,
know
my
if you said
bad.
Anything important? or not.
Fucking baked, everybody. Sequence and I have been smoking nonstop this weekend for I don't know, for whatever reason. I thought I had the vid, you guys. I thought it got me.
She
Oh,
thought she had the vid. And I just want to say real quick, I hope that all of our viewers that are afflicted with this sort of thing and our friends
Yes.
too. Hope you guys are getting well soon. Get some rest. I went over and I rolled a bunch of joints and Painted Lady was negative, but we got over it.
So what do you got for flour right now? Would you roll up?
I think it's the cross that I bred, which was the
Deep
Deep
chunk?
Chunk F12 and Crescendo.
Did you ever come up with a name for that or a specific terp or anything?
No, I didn't name it because I decided not to keep it.
Okay. It's a
It's
bastard
really
child.
sedative. Yeah. It just ended up being a one-time run deal. But actually, I was talking about breeding stuff today, so maybe that'll happen soon.
Let's talk about it.
Not necessarily just any particular thing, but just breeding seeds and talking about doing that. So, like always. So that'll be a thing that happens here soon.
Man, those fucking breeding chambers that so many people have built through the years. It started off with Vader OG, and I know that MedGrower uses one, and those build outs on YouTube. If you have the time and you really want to have pretty foolproof automated system, those are a great place to start looking. If you don't choose to use a tank,
Yeah, a breeding chamber would be cool, but we've got the benefit of having 2 houses, right? So I can just breed over here, and she can grow big plants over there, and we won't have any cross contamination and stuff like that. It lowers the risk a lot. So that'd be nice.
Now, would you try to find a male, or would you try to reverse something that you've got and fuck with it that way?
Probably both. It just depends on what you want to do, right? What traits you're looking for in a plant, or if you grow what you're growing and what you like out of each thing. Like, say you like the Mac because it's super frosty, and you like Gorilla Glue because it's really big. You might want to cross those 2 things and see if you can get both traits.
That's a question that I have for the chat. Is chat, if you could work with one plant, you don't have to pick both sides, but what's one plant that's caught your attention that you're like, man, if I could fuck with this and maybe put this terp with it, or if I could keep that and add this to it, what would that be? What would you
For me, it's an easy answer.
Okay, what is it?
GMO.
Okay.
Cross it with stuff that's a little bit faster, and maybe hopefully retain the terpene profile and the ability to wash really well, like that funkiness of it, and then maybe shorten the flower time. That'd be nice.
Shave a week off, maybe.
GMO is a favorite of mine. It's great stuff. What would you breed with?
You know what? You mentioned it already. I think I would try
Gorilla
to
Glue?
work with Gorilla Glue. Yeah.
I
The only
know.
problem is I've never seen a Gorilla Glue cross except for one that really floored me. A couple of years ago, my son came by and he had some King Gluey the 14th. Wow. I told him, I looked across the table at him. I was like, son, if I had this as a clone in my garden, this would be the only thing that I would grow right now. It was so fucking good, man. Though that sour garlic cookie, that's another one that's just near and dear to my heart. I don't even think I would add anything to that, though. I would just hold it in perpetuity. What about you, Baked? You're the guy that knows all the genetics. What do you think?
I've never heard you speak of this King Gluey.
King Gluey the 14th.
Oh, I
How many
remember
hours?
talking
How many
about it.
hours of podcasting?
I've heard it mentioned that before,
I haven't heard it
so
mentioned.
maybe you
I've
just
heard- I've heard-
I must not have
Thank
been
you.
listening. I'm
Thank you.
sorry.
Some people pay
Oh,
attention. I mean,
damn.
Red's just
There you
You
go.
Red's
It was
World.
it was more
Red's
recently.
World. Party
more
time.
recently.
Excellent.
Sorry.
Good, she's good at throwing me under that
Sorry.
proverbial bus there.
Thank you, Becker. Baked?
We got a lot of good responses in chat.
I know. I'm
Jack
seeing some of them. I see
Jacker,
Setsy Star.
I don't know.
East Coast Sour D.
If I had to breed with something, it'd be something with like a high that I like. That would be the important part. I feel like you can find flavors all over the place. Just pick up a grape this or strawberry that, but it's the high that's hard to find.
How about the
Green
the
Gorilla.
growability of the strains? Like how easy they are
Yes.
to grow, how big, like the structure and
Sometimes that's where you hope the
important is
second
that?
plant comes in and fucking wrangles that shit down. Like I'd like to get something that could fix the GG4 so that it's not so long and just liable to topple over later in flower. I love the nugs, but the structure of the plant could be a little stronger.
Yeah. I feel like you can easily breed some structure and stuff if you want into it.
like Mac is super undesirable in the structure, right? Like all the internode bullshit and all the extra little leaves, and
You shut your mouth, Mac.
it's worth it.
Well,
It's
speaking
worth
of
it,
Max
but-
Spartan, what do you think of the cross that you're running on it right now?
It's harvested.
Okay,
The Mac times the fuck was that crossed with?
Limarilla.
Yeah, Limarilla. Yep, the Limelights. Yeah, I think it looks great. I wish I'd have gotten a clone of it. So I don't know. It depends on how good it is. I'm supposed to take it in a sample into work, and who knows? We might hunt it at work. The rest of that pack.
How many you got left in the pack?
Well, I don't know, a lot. Enough.
Hell yeah, man. Enough.
Enough is a good answer.
Yeah, enough. But, I mean, I'm working one bliss, but I figured. I mean, that's what I want to work with. I just want to keep fucking with that. It's fun.
In which
It's not
direction are
any
you trying to take it?
The same direction. I just want to have better terps right now. Right now, the high is where I want it, and it's pretty strong on terpenes. It's really like almost like a gassy kind of aspect to it, but it's still not my favorite terp. So I want to bring better terpenes to it, more desirable terpenes, in my opinion, to it. So we'll see. Gonna see what comes out of this Russell.
Get high hopes for that one. The namesake, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. You gotta have a male. You gotta have a male come out of that and have a male breeder called Russell.
So what? Yeah, what are you going to call your male breeder pheno of Russell?
Russell.
Martin.
You're just going to call it
BD,
Russell.
it's the BDE.
PDE, I knew.
Oh, here
BDE
we go.
code That's the male.
The old throwback.
I was going to say ignorant, but sorry.
You're not muted. You know, it's fine.
We just
Throw it out
assumed
there.
that.
Just found the unmute button.
We're muted that time.
Oh shit! I thought it was muted.
Spartan, I'm curious.
Kidding, Spartan.
Do you mean that
No,
you're
I love ya.
do you mean that the high is there with potency or an effect?
No, I
I'm
mean the
curious.
effect.
I'm curious if you change your terpene, the effects will change.
Well, that's another thing is I'm not going to breed anything into it that doesn't have the same type of. So to me, it's important because the name of the cultivar is Bliss. It's my Bliss bud,
Right.
and I want it to have a blissful high. So anything like indica type is not going to be bred into it, and it's not going to be selected for. So if I get something like that, it's not going to be continued.
I think you've said before, but are you going to test it, like terpene test it and see like what terpenes you have in there and like what direction it's going as far as all that goes?
Not likely. To
I
me,
thought I remembered
to
you
me,
saying that.
well, to me in the industry now and what I know about the tests in the labs and they just say I don't really give a shit what the fuck. I don't want to put any money in the money of the labs that I don't have to. So that's my
Sure.
opinion on labs. But
That's a shame, man.
well, it's not what I thought they were. They apparently the numbers don't mean shit. So I don't know, man. I don't. I think that the best bet is always just smoking your product and knowing for yourself. And really, that's what I'm making this project for anyway. I figure it's going to be a long project and I'll be fucking with it forever, but it's for me to enjoy ultimately and my family. So that's
Sure.
where, you know, when it comes down to it, that's the testing I need. I'll pass it around to my friends and family and see what they say and make the ultimate decision. But, you know, fuck what a lab says.
You've already proven
Yeah, I
that you
mean-
know how to keep a keeper, my friend.
I mean, I might get curious
Pick another
and
big
do like a
one.
cannabinoid test or something like that. But in the long run, it's all bullshit.
You give enough those seeds away, eventually people will start testing them just for their own curiosity, and you'll get a crowdsource response. You know.
Right, and I was going to say that you've got enough people that respect your opinion that if you smoke it and say, hey, this is really potent or this is really bad, that they'll accept that as your answer on your strain that you created.
The Spartan cut of
Yeah.
snow cane, my friend. Crazy ass headlights. Like, how would you pick headlights? You know what I mean? You can't say, well, I'm going to go into it looking for this really wild turf.
I never do. I just pop the seeds and see what happens, man. You know, what's this guy's lab testing equipment doesn't what? I can't
Smoke
see the
weed.
post. Doesn't smoke weed. It's true.
That it is. It can't judge the subjective effects of the cannabis.
Right.
Well, the whole lab system's set up sketchy in our system anyway. I don't know how other states operate, but when the customer pays the lab, that's asking for problems.
So Jim brings this up. He says, if there's a strain I really liked, I might get curious what terpenes it had so I could look for other strains that might give the same effects.
Yeah,
I
but
just
those
wanted to bring
terpenes
this
do-
up because
but
this is
that's
kind of how you pick medicinal strains.
yeah, but you do that from experience. You do that from smelling it. You do that from
Right.
smoking that. You can do that without taking it in and getting a lab report saying, because you can take it into that same lab 10 times and see what your results are.
Well, I mean, if
Because
you
there's-
know that you like myrcene because it's in some strain that you like. You can look for it in other strains. You don't have to go get your stuff tested necessarily to blah blah blah. It's just a nice. way
You
to
also
seek
have
it out.
I kind of do that
Okay.
old school way though. Like, for example, like we'll say linalool. I know it smells like lavender, so anything that I smell that smells like lavender, I'm going to expect the linalool effects, kind of a thing.
They don't test for esters or alcohols in the lab either, which have a big effect on your
True.
medicine and taste and all that good stuff. So I don't know if going on lab or test results to figure out what your next strain is like the best thing. And
If I was looking for something, I can't think off the top of my head, but genetic. I know if I was like seriously about trying to breed autos, then I'm 100% would be doing tests to define, make sure I had Rutarellus, DNA Rutarellus. I can't smell that. I can't. You know what I mean, I would probably do testing for that. But I mean, for certain things, sex testing, I can understand why people would do that.
I wonder if the auto. I haven't grown enough autos to tell, but I wonder if it's got some pretty notable physical traits. So like maybe you could see it in some way while it's vegging or
Man,
otherwise.
until they stabilize it and figure it out, man, it's all over the board from what I've seen with autos. So I don't know.
Yeah.
But I've seen really big ones, that purple get huge,
Right.
and then I've seen some that were fucking tiny.
I've grown a 4-inch auto, literally, and I've grown a 1 pound auto. So
What's the interesting thing is since you guys have both ran multiple strains of autos, have you ever found any photo period expressions inside of an auto pack?
what do you mean? Like,
You should.
in my opinion, like a plant that didn't flip or something like that.
A plant that is photo period rather than auto.
I haven't, but I've heard
So
of
I-
this happening both ways, and usually it's from buying like white label seeds or cheap seeds or something repackaged from like a European, like a seedsman type website. We would buy you buy Blue Dream or whatever, and it ends up being an autoflower, or vice versa. But that's more of like a labeling issue than a breeding one, I think. I've grown 100 autoflower seeds all side by side, and they were all autoflowers. That was all by the same breeder, Mandalorian at the time. He changed the name, right? Spartan. What's his company called now? Or is it still Mandalorian?
No, Gnome Automatics.
No, Gnome Automatics.
Yep.
Still the same genetics, just a new company name. I had really good results. A bunch of 4 foot tall autoflowers, and they did pretty well. They were almost all purple plants that I grew. In the
Anvil.
strains.
Yeah.
Well, like 3 different strains, 4 different strains, and I think
Bobby's
3 of them
Widow.
were purple.
He just did a collab with Kyle from Predicated or Pure Breeding. All these guys keep changing their names, and Pure Breeding is going to have some autoflowers now too. And I popped the autos I just popped from 2020. I'm excited about those. I'm excited to see their later versions. They just dropped another one recently, some autos. I'm excited to see these, and now they're progressing further down the generation to see how stable and how good they're getting.
I was impressed with, especially the Anvil that Skillwell brought up, was F7 when I grew it. All of them were the same. Like,
That was
I put
good.
them in either 5s or 7s, I can't remember, and all of them were the same height. It was really cool.
you can find that strain on the one episode of the Bro Review me and Spartan got to do too. If you search on our page. Purple nugs on that one. It was very beautiful strain.
They were pretty little plants. I still like the logistics of that you put those in a photo period greenhouse and kept them in the aisles, and it worked out, man.
Like all the in-between spaces. So in a greenhouse, we had a 1,200 square foot greenhouse. The photo period plants get huge, but they don't start huge. So while they're still small, you have a lot of empty space all over the place. So we decided to just throw autoflower plants in there in all of that area. So in between all the photos, we put autos in there in the aisles and stuff. And then towards the end of the season, when all the autos were harvested, the photos took up all the room because they were so big.
And having the autos also helped you, since it was a first run, figure out your drying space and everything else before you had the really heavy harvest
True.
come down from the photo periods.
Yeah, we had to build tents and set up drying spaces and stuff before the photo harvest came down.
Cutting holes for air conditioners and shit.
Mm-hmm. Elaborate stuff, man.
I might be on that list next. We're trying to figure some shit out, man. We got the hammer of the red tape. What is it? It's not really the man. It's the fucking local ordinance township bullshit. Hey, what's up for Growley?
Hey, for Growley?
Cheers.
Cheers.
What up?
Direct your ire at the MCMA. How about that, Red?
What's that?
You can direct your ire at the MCMA. They're the ones.
Yeah,
that shit.
yeah. I mean, basically, what's going on is we're getting like the same language throughout multiple townships going around, and the only thing I can think of is that it's coming down from somewhere else, right? It's coming down. It's an influence from somewhere else. My township didn't care about caregivers.
I was
last
asked
13,
what happened with
14
the
years.
legislation yesterday, and I said this is what happened with it. They
Uh,
turned it into this.
Yeah. So my township is currently 5 acres. For care. Okay, so let me break it down. You can have a caregiver, one caregiver per parcel, and they don't limit how many parcels you can have on a lot. I've been looking at multiple owners own properties with multiple parcels with different zonings, etc. Such. You have to be zoned agricultural.
Can you split your house with a zoning line?
I don't know if you could split like the house on the zoning line. That'd be interesting.
I
But
think it has to be separate.
they
and
have to be
taxed.
be
You put like a duct tape line
25.
on the floor and say that this
Uh,
half is.
You
the
over there.
language does prevent that by saying 25 feet. So it sounds like you have to get a permit. Okay. So it sounds like the city is trying to get more permits out of the deal. So you'd want to parcel up, get multiple parcels, but they don't really give you a max. They are sort of making it so that you could potentially have like a group of caregivers on a property. But there's a huge restriction that I'm not happy with. And the restrictions against anybody under the age of 18, they're saying that there are no marijuana patients allowed. You're not no consumption under the age of 18, no marijuana patients.
medical,
Medical marijuana patients. Yeah.
which makes it worse.
We all know about Charlotte. We all know about Josie Wales. We all know about Spartan. What's the program that Josie's in charge of? that
Rick
they're
brought up the
working on?
number of minor medical patients at the Capitol, and I think it was around 200 or so.
Okay.
Minors in Michigan that are under the age of 18.
There's a lot. There's a lot.
Around
There's
that number.
there's Josie's got something going. She's trying to actually get access for children to be able to use their meds in school, such as they're able to use their amphetamines for ADHD and things like that. So
Talk about patients for safe access.
if that's what it's called, yeah. I'm talking about. I
think
thought
Josie
it was
Wales
called
is
some.
weird.
I
think you're
thought it
talking
was
about
called
Josie.
something
I don't
else.
think her last name is Wales.
What's that?
I think I know who you're talking about, Josie, but I don't think her last name is Wales. I think
Oh,
that's
okay.
weird.
Yeah, Josie Wales is
the
Gorilla Glue.
breeder.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. No, I'm not Josie Wales. I'm sorry.
Her
Spartan.
name is Josie. I don't remember her last name. Though.
Oh, okay.
I thought it was
That's in my
Jalen.
head. You got it stuck in my head now.
Jalen's Law is what they're
There it
working
is. I
on.
got
Thank
it.
you.
Yeah,
Okay,
Jaden's Law.
Jaden's
Amy
Law.
is his-
We're
Amy
fucking
is
this
his-
all over the place. We
Jaden,
apologize,
Jaden.
guys.
His
Jaden.
mother is Amy. I can't
Amy's
remember her
mother.
last name.
Sorry, Jamie, that we're
This is an
butchering this
informational
whole
program.
thing. Tune into the Jazz
Jazz
Cabbage
Cabbage.
Cafe for the real information on all this, because Josie's on his show
It's
often.
Josie's sons and daughters. United.
Usually in the garden listening. Sons and
You can listen.
daughters. Okay, cool. And yeah, I can't believe the township's actually preventing this. I mean, someone actually has a medical caregiver or has a medical cannabis card through the state, through a doctor. They're preventing it. What? They're preventing a consumption outdoor. You can't consume any of your products outside. You have to be inside. I think that that's pretty incredibly restrictive. Why do we have to be inside of? outside, man, open air, like we're smoking things. This is stupid. We can be away from we can be away from the unaided eye in that respect. You know, we can be behind a fence or a curtain or a tree or a bush or whatever. I'm not saying we have to sneak behind a bush, but we can totally have like landscaping enough that nobody's going to see or possibly even smell. You know, I think that there's plenty of options, especially if you're limited to 5 acres. You're on 5 acres. You
Dude,
mean
the eyesores of shit that I've seen people put up to try to obscure their grows.
it's so crazy.
Oh, it's horrible. Yeah.
Like
Bro, I
you
saw-
can't
bro,
find an
on my-
outdoor space on 5 acres and not be seen.
Like
On my way
stacks
home
of
from work,
tires.
I used to see an
like-
outdoor grow from the
Stacks
highway.
of tigers.
See the blurple lights.
Oh, tigers. I thought you said tigers. I was like, oh, that's an interesting one, but
What's going on for Girly?
Oh, sorry I'm late, guys. I was doing some 6th grade math and didn't realize what time it was.
Happens.
No problem at all.
How was
We're
Hawaii?
here.
That was great. I think that's also part of the problem is I'm not adjusted to the time. It's a 5-hour time difference, which takes about at least 36 hours to get used to on the way there once you get there. And it seems like a few days at least to get back to this. But on top of that, there's about a 70-degree change in temperature or so. I think we're looking at negative something tomorrow night here in Michigan. So yay. I'm back.
welcome back.
Hey, before we get too far from these ordinance bullshit, I wanted to at least bring up if you live in Mundy Township, you want to get down there. This is the next one, guys. Mundy Township, January 11th. So we're coming up in 2 days at 7 p.m. And that's 3478 Monday Avenue, M-U-N-D-Y, Mundy Avenue, Swartz Creek, Michigan, 48473. If you want the phone number, you call them up. That's 1-810-655-4631. That's the Township of Mundy.
Do you have a thing you can
Oh, yeah,
share
man.
or you on screen? Or no?
It's just like a message that I was sent.
Oh.
Shout out to Jen. I can share it. Let me find where's the share screen? Here it is.
It's just a bunch of numbers so people can see it real quick and maybe
Share
take a
screen.
picture. Or...
Then they can screenshot it and
Oh,
do
this
all that
is
typing
something
shit.
else. Okay, It's giving me all these tips I gotta get through.
Yeah, because
We haven't done it before on here.
that ordinance is passed on my end. That's
Are
what
you guys-
sucks.
Yeah, they
You
snuck
guys
it through
see-
on you.
I
Yeah,
see it.
yeah.
You guys see my screen now?
Yep.
They
How do you make that? I don't know
Hit
if I can make.
control and mouse
Control
wheel
and then
forward.
roll. Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
That is the way sequence.
Monday Township will be discussing a caregiver ordinance in planning January 11th at 7 p.m.
So check out these bullet points too. Can you guys read it or need to be bigger?
No, it's good.
25% or up to 200 square feet. That's your maximum. Can be used in no detached dwellings. So it'd have to be on your own home property, which is kind of
Yeah, in your house, right?
Yeah.
Can't use a pole barn or something like that.
Yeah, it seems ridiculous. It says the patient can't even go to the caregiver's home, and that all the product must be delivered. So you got to take everything
that's
everywhere.
bullshit. That's
Only
a lot
the-
of bullshit there.
Only the primary caregiver can use cannabis on their property, so that means nobody else, which is
That's
dumb.
yeah. That's where
Goes
some of
against
the,
current law. Page 8 says you can't use cannabis unless you have a debilitating condition. Also,
This
against
page
current
7
law.
shit's crazy. This is
need-
asinine.
This is the most ridiculous of them all.
But this doesn't trump adult usage. So we could
No.
just say that he was coming over and using adult usage rather than his medical card or some silly shit.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
exactly. I
When
mean,
you say you're
the problem is they're creating laws with loopholes. Like, what's the purpose? Like, if there's already a loophole, like, what the fuck's the purpose? of
Selective
even-
enforcement. That's the whole point.
Yeah, yeah.
But this is just so
a
fun. They
stackable thing.
use the unused
That's-
cannabis or debris like seed stalks and roots must be removed by a DEA disposal carrier. So
Fuck
yeah,
off.
That
let's
is
get a
asinine.
federal agent in here with a federally controlled substance. That's what we're gonna do.
How much is
Yeah,
that going to cost?
I'm sure that's not gonna drive
Right.
any caregivers
Uh,
to stop producing
20 to
medications.
life.
20
Yeah,
life.
yeah.
Right.
I don't know how to. Here's the
So
stop
ain't-
sharing.
I got you, Dawn.
Go
Ridiculous.
give your trim to.
What do you think about it for
DEA
Girly? I know
agent.
you read up on a lot of this shit.
You clicked and muted yourself.
Maybe that was intentional.
Yeah,
Keep you
I
from
sometimes have to
that.
stop myself when I talk about this kind of stuff. I get very, very frustrated. Hey guys, you know what? There's this beautiful thing called civil disobedience. Look into it and just
Yep.
enact it. That's all I can say, man.
Well, we still have the right
Yeah.
as a 21-year-old or older in the state of Michigan with I think no felony is the only restriction. You can have 12 plants, so you can at least have 12 plants.
I think there's going to be a lot of that is where when these sort of things start going to trial and people start asking for jury trials, people go, hey, this is really ridiculous that this grandmother is being arrested for growing her plants or whatever.
But the problem is the law hasn't been siding with the patients, though. So you don't really want to roll those fucking dice and like Fergoli is saying, it's going to be 20 to life. You know,
It will now because this goes
You've
against
got prosecutors
law.
that say
It's
they
not-
won't prosecute on these cases already. in
Exactly.
places
But
that
that's
are
a
passing
votable
these
position that is
things.
tenuous at best. So then we're just saying that it comes down to the luck of the fucking draw where you live in the state as to if you have a cool prosecutor, if you have one that's fucking hell bent for cannabis. That ain't right.
They're
No,
just
That's
you
our
hire
justice
one.
system.
No, you
Well,
hire
I've
one.
seen-
That's what's going
Yeah.
to happen. Is it's going to take suits at the local level against these jurisdictions,
No.
and it's going to bankrupt them over stupidity. But if that's what it's going to take, then that's what it's going to take. And if they want to be sued, I mean, I like bringing these up to people.
the irony is going to be they're going to be forced to opt into the Prop 1 because they're going to need the money that the tax revenue can give them because it's astronomical and they're all losing out on it.
What this is just pure laziness. What it is usually a lawyer from each jurisdiction goes to these sponsored events where they wine and dine them, and the MCMA shoves these already written ordinances down their throats, and they come back and they might change one tiny bit. It's usually the most ridiculous part because that's the part they wrote, and then they call it their own and push it off.
I
Like they
can't
did-
believe that they had the audacity to write in that patients below the age of 18 can't use their medical cannabis. Like
completely
You've
against the
already been
law.
adju- you've
Completely
already been
against the law.
decided.
that's not
that
even
you
a
can
care.
have
That wasn't
card.
even against caregivers. That was just
Right.
against medical patients. Like
Right.
they made a medical cannabis ordinance. It had nothing to do with
Yeah.
just caregivers. They had to say like to grow your plants, to do this, that, and the other. Like they made it, vague for a couple reasons, but they made it very specific for a couple of other reasons.
Well, they made it really
Very
specific about no detached dwelling, which means if you don't have a attached garage, even you can't even use your garage.
Do you know how much bullshit someone had to go through to get their card at 16 in the first place?
right.
And how many
Yeah.
people forego getting their
Or even
cards
younger
until they
than
turn
that.
18 just for that
Right.
simple fact? So
Oh,
they
if
deal
you're-
with symptoms that they really could have been aided
Yeah, if you're
with
under
cannabis.
21, you have to get 2 doctors' recommendations. It's not one. You get one
I'm sorry,
doctor's
21.
recommendation,
Is it? Man,
And-
that's crazy.
and then you have to go get another doctor's recommendation.
And your
Yeah.
parents you have to have a caregiver. Your parents have to be your caregiver. You can't grow it yourself. You're too young. You're too young to grow the plants.
Yep.
I don't even know if you can actually like handle the product if it has to be handled for you. I mean, like there's all kinds of.
Is somebody going to hold the J for me?
I don't know how.
Certainly can't roll a joint.
Well, I don't know.
Right,
If that,
come
well, that's
on.
the thing, though. I don't
Who
think.
can
I
anymore?
don't think you're supposed to be expected to
That's
smoke
the-
those, Scobo. I think at that age, you can't smoke cigarettes. You're not supposed to smoke.
Well, that's what stopped
would
me, I'm sure.
medicate
You
it
have
with
to
a
move
tincture.
for
I
it.
mean,
It's for a
Okay.
tincture or for another type of response, but nonetheless, you can possess.
you know what's
it, right?
crazy? I see this thing that keeps coming up, and they say that young people smoke less cannabis than they have like ever before, which I find just mind blowing.
It's because
Is
the
that because
education's
they
out there.
counting vaping out and stuff like that. 'Cause
It's,
I feel like
educated.
all
It's,
those
it's
vaping-
normalized now. It's not considered dangerous and
So
taboo.
since it's not taboo, they don't want to fuck with it.
Exactly.
Dumbass.
Yeah, it's not
education
cool,
on it.
man.
Hit me with
They
that
won't
red
want it 'cause they
Foreman
need it.
dumbass shit,
Yeah,
man.
I can believe that. I can believe it. It's not cool anymore.
No, let's go get fucking wasted instead.
Yeah. It's still on the booze and the nose candy, man.
I love to play devil's advocate.
Not the
and
strain they're talking about in chat.
Who you got for girl?
I just think that, I mean, we can sit here and hammer this down each other's and our chat and our viewers' throats about how wrong these bills are and stuff. But I mean, this isn't news to us. We all know this. We all see how ridiculous it is. We really got to I guess empathize or try to view it from their perspective. And you don't even have to believe that there's ethical or moral intent behind what they're trying to do. You can believe that it's purely evil, but think about the way that they're going to frame it. Why do they say no minor patients? Because then they can go say to everyone, it's for the children, it's to protect the children, right? Why do we not allow it in outbuildings? It's because guess what? Your contract with your landlord, if you're renting, probably says you can't grow inside your house. So there's one for the landlords, right? I mean, you could just take each and every one of those points.
going.
The whole
Yeah.
DEA thing.
They're trying to protect everybody. in a lot of ways.
Well, right. That's how they're going to try to frame it if they haven't
Painting it
already.
in the
I'm not
smallest square.
right. I'm not incredibly familiar with this Monday case, and that's really only what I get through this show is specific to this one, what I'm kind of hearing. But there's so many cases out there. They all are bills out there in these different municipalities, and they are all pretty similar. This DEA thing,
They're basically
just makes
copy
me laugh,
pasted.
but pretty
Yeah,
much,
that's
which
weird.
makes me think it's all kind of coming from the same lobbying group or whatever. But regardless, it's the way they're going to frame it, right? And so, the whole issue with it is education and empathizing from our point of view and from the medicinal value of the plant. But that information's still not out there and readily available to the extent that it's in the local newspapers, your local, whatever township index has got a pro article about how cannabis helps some, 14-year-old with seizures or something. I don't think I've ever seen that once. You see some national news things and stuff. But it's a battle still. It's a very real battle. And for caregivers to have these rights taken away like this is insane to me. That's why I'm, so
No, I agree with you, but we have ammo in the very law that is written, and the very law in 2008 was caregivers and patients. That in itself means a medical system. And
Yeah.
when you can go to any municipality, and that's how you can put them on the spot. When they say we need these changes, blah, 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 blah. And you can say, I'm here representing the patients. How are you increasing patient access or at least leaving it the same? Any other thing that you tell me that increases patient access is a bad thing. So explain to me how this is good. And you
They'll
send them
just push it right back up the line, though.
Right.
But it's hard to push back against patient access.
Right. And that's why you have to force them to understand our frame of reference and empathize with our position, because it's too easy to be like, well, it's for the, we want to protect the kids, don't we? Why would we want to have, access to drugs? I heard the same exact thing.
Access to drugs.
Right. And that's how
I
they're
hate that.
framing it.
I know.
And I would stop them right there. And just that, if someone said that to me, I'd say, yeah, I do want to protect the kids who need this healing medicine that is healing them from their disease with zero effects.
When
The
nothing
thing
else
that
is
gets
worked.
me, was it on the show?
Everybody's so hung up on the effects of cannabis, man. They're all hung up on the fact that it gets you high. Nobody is hung up on the fact that it heals you. What the fuck's wrong with a lot of people? Everybody's hung up on the fact a lot of shit gets you high. A lot of shit fucks you up. A lot of stuff that we consume, a lot of stuff that doctors prescribe us gets us fucked up, man. Why is everybody so hung up on this?
Do you want to know why?
It's ridiculous.
It's simply because people feel that if you're using any kind of substance to alter your consciousness, that you're somehow cheating the fucking game. And
Alcohol,
that's where the problem-
man, it's
there's
more than that. It's
and I'm
systemic.
just mean with children.
It's built into
Sure
built into school. We've all went through it, man. It's why it was the systemic, the government lying to us.
We've
Now
all at
it's
some
the
fucking
way.
level had to deprogram ourselves from
Yeah,
what
we
we were
just-
told about this shit.
We're just ahead of everybody else, and it's going to be a long game for us. But I think before we die, it's going to turn around. It's already turned. I'm seeing a huge.
let me bring up
gains in
the
knowledge
other.
as
Let
far
me
as
bring
that
up the
goes.
polar opposite with like the elderly, right? For example, like my family won't give my grandma any cannabis products because they're afraid it's going to like harm her, but they'll allow her to like drink alcohol at family gatherings. It makes no sense. Like, what's the fear in the cannabis? What
My
is this
grandmother's
fear?
oncologist waited
healthy.
till she was 2 weeks out from her death to allow or recommend any cannabis usage, and it was only for the end of life care type of situation. Are you fucking joking me?
It makes no sense. This is a CB1 agonist, a CB2 agonist. Like, these are things that actually modulate our body's health and immune system. Everybody's hung up on the effects. Everybody's so hung up on the fact that it gets you high. What about all of the other pharmaceuticals that get kids and all kinds of people high? What about the fact that Adderall and shit is the same molecular compound as methamphetamine? It is an amphetamine. Why is nobody hung up on this stuff? It's ridiculous.
Doctors
that
aren't
it's
prescribing it,
political.
man.
It makes
American
no
Orchid
sense.
prescribe something.
It's just, everybody's so hung up on these things, man. I really think that something needs to change this public perception. I don't know how. I really don't understand or know
You're
how.
doing it all the time, Red.
Yeah, I guess we are with these conversations, right? But still, people just don't understand that, you can go to you can get sent down, in between hour 2 and hour 3 and go to your school nurse and get your Adderall, which is the same molecular compound as methamphetamine. But you still legally can't, even as a patient, go down there and get your CBD tincture.
Yeah, like Amy Carter has to go pick up her son Jaden, take him 1,000 feet away from the school,
1,000
give him his
feet, 1,000
medicine,
feet.
and then bring him back to school. Like, that's not going to interrupt his learning. I mean, it's so
Sure.
stupid.
You're making it fucking abnormal
storming
for
the
the kid too.
Capitol over shit, and we have people in fear of the effects of cannabis. Like, come on, man! Like, these are people actually dying. Kids with neuroblastomas, brain cancer in children. Okay, you mean to tell me that they can't use a cannabis tincture to save their life? You're gonna legislate that? Come on, man.
I see the DARE program has gotten brought up a couple times here in chat. And I actually, this past week while I was on vacation, saw a probably, 15, 16-year-old kid wearing a DARE shirt. And
Was it ironically worn?
I think it was done ironically,
Okay.
but he was there with his entire family and everything. And
maybe
I'm just like, man, I haven't seen one of those in a long time, but it was,
Snitch.
tie-dye and stuff. So it's kind of questionable.
Because tie-dyed, he was
yeah.
He's
So
mine.
he was a young kid.
Yeah, 15, 16, something like
That's
that,
funny.
Yeah.
Was it the drugs are really expensive shirt?
I have
No,
that
no.
tie-dye shirt, painted lady. That's my DARE shirt.
I made sure I read
think
it.
that'll
I'm
be
like,
the
Dispensaries are really expensive.
Yeah, that's what it said. I'll wear it next week.
I see in chat, I get it that it's politics and stuff, but it's also like so many
Layers?
so many people, just people, man, just regular everyday citizens. Like on my block, like who knows how many people like are just so appalled at the scent that comes out of my backyard. You know what I mean? Just or like in fear or just whatever it is, because it's weird, man. It's amazing that. Okay, I get it. I understand all the brainwashing for the history, all of the drugs will kill you, drugs are bad, the eggs in the frying pan. I know how it all went down. I get it. But it's enough of that shit. It's over, man. It needs to end. It's time to. They're still legislating this shit.
power
We
of
all
propaganda, right?
legalized a couple years ago, and we're building 20,000 plants. This company has 4 or 5 Class Cs. Plus, if you have so many Class Cs and so many med Class Cs, you're allowed to get
5.
an extra. Yeah, if you have 5 Class Cs and you're capped, you're not capped. You're allowed a 2,000, in fact, plant grower's
Special
license
license.
to increase your. Yeah, you're allowed a specialty grower's license in that respect to grow another 2,000. Our Class C, our rec Class C is only a 1,500 plant, 1.5, but you can get 2 as long as you have 5. So you can stack up like 20,000 plants between your like rec and med, maybe even more.
Red,
And-
let me
and
rip the baton from you.
They're
for a minute.
fearing us for 72, or they're fearing us for 12 or even 1. Like this economy is so big, it's huge, and it's still like they're still so hung up on the effects.
It's propaganda, Red.
I know.
It's all been propaganda.
I
And the
know.
funny thing about propaganda is once you hear some bullshit, you have to have personal experience, like eyes on the prize sort of thing, and see it for your own eyes, where you see someone that you love that you know isn't a quote unquote drug addict. And you say, man, this motherfucker's in some pain, man. I got to do something for this person. So I'm going to give you the pro tip. The pro tip is this: if you have someone who's on the fence about cannabis, one of the worst things that you can do is give them an edible or try to get them to smoke a joint with you or anything else. One of the things that's the best thing to do for a lot of cases is to use it topically for somebody, so that they can tell that, hey, man, I don't feel weird at all. I don't feel high or
I
anything.
did that today, Scobo.
And
as a
that
matter of
is the
fact.
secret into changing minds, is
Yep.
letting people find relief from the plant without any worries
This,
of, man, I feel fucking high as shit. If somebody gets raw dogged with RSO and they're not ready for that, you can turn them away from that forever. As Painted Lady knows with her one friend, where she accidentally got into it a little too much, didn't she, Painted Lady?
With like 5 milligrams.
dude, yeah.
Not even.
Yeah.
It was like,
No, that's all it takes. It takes 2.5
Barely.
milligrams.
What was
2.5
it, Painted Lady?
milligrams is the threshold.
it was it was 0.107, I think, is what I gave her.
And it was just far too much.
0.07 gram.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
0.07 grams.
So what does
Yeah,
she,
because
did she
with
try anything else?
That's 70 milligrams. That's 70
Nice.
milligrams. And if that's 50% THC that's still 35 milligrams. Holy shit.
Yeah, she was.
You know what I mean? That's a lot.
And
You said 50% THC. We know it's not 50%.
Exactly. That's what I mean. I'm going at the low end on this calibration, man. This calculation, because at 60%, you're over 30. If 35 milligrams is a lot and it's actually more potent than that, 2.5 milligrams is a threshold based on, you know, X weight and per gram, right? So it, you know, let's say you're a little heavier than the average, then maybe it's 3 or 4 milligrams. That's threshold. That means you start to feel it and you're going to start going, oh shit. 5 to 10 milligrams is more than oh shit level for a lot of people, you know. In skill ball, I played that today, dude. This guy came in, he's in his 50s, and he's telling me how his mom's 80 years old and she's still like totally freaked out. He's been smoking his whole life, you know. We were having the same conversation, dude. We're talking about it all, you know what I mean? Having a great conversation with this dude. He's like, I just can't get my mom to figure it out. She just won't understand like how it's beneficial and stuff. And I walked him right over the topical cabinet and I said, dude, grab one of these. They're effective. Take him to her. He was telling me how she has shingles and a bunch of other things. And I immediately walked him right over to the cabinet. I go, she's got shingles, she's got arthritis and all these other things. Give her a cannabis topical and change her mind and life forever.
Yep. And
he was totally into it. So didn't make the sale today because he already busted his bank. But, you know, next time he comes in, he's a regular. He'll come back in and he'll get it. It's important, dude. The topical's huge, man. I did it on my hand yesterday. My hand's fucked, dude. I don't even trim with this hand. I got some kind of my knuckles. At first, it was in my knuckles and not on my skin or anything. It's inside, you know, it's fucked. And then it was in my wrist. And then a day later, it's up to my elbow. And just my whole arm is just throbbing yesterday. And I had a whole bunch of work to do in the garden. And I had to get it all done. And it's wringing out towels. It's the squeezing from wringing out towels, right? And it's caught up to me. I have a lot of shock from rollerblading and extreme sports when I was younger, and wringing out towels just gets me every time. So I put on the an old chilled medicated that I had laying around because it's like 1,000 milligram bottle, and I just loaded my hand with it. It didn't go away immediately. My hand was fucked all day long for like 6 hours. Finally, later on at night when I got home, we burned a couple, and I'm sitting here. Pain was like gone. I'm like, holy shit, my hand feels great. I can't feel it today. A little bit's back in the knuckles. I can tell I might need to like maybe put some on, but I think that was the effects of the cannabis did its job, man. That it worked. My hand feels great now. I'm gonna definitely have to go put a roller ball on it and double it up.
Cannabis is great for inflammation. That's one of the things that you're really focusing on. Is pain is it comes from inflammation itself. So inflammation can lead to pain. If you can treat the inflammation, whether it's through cannabis or changing your diet or a whole myriad of other things, you'll find that you can sometimes get a grip on some things that aren't like nerve pain. Nerve pain, that's where cannabis really fucking comes in clutch, because instead of taking a bunch of crazy pills, if you find that right strain that's good for that, man, it's money. Keeps it right under control.
Throw out a stoner engineering recommendation for you. I have no idea what kind of situation you're dealing with towels, but I just envision you and Becca standing across each other with 2 drills and just cranking them. Just
one going one way and the other.
Yeah, I mean, why not? Give it a try.
I thought Red got it from his training in the Shaolin monks up in the temples, where, you know, they had to work with the towels all the time and empty a bucket of water into another one, just using the ring of the towel.
That's almost going to be I almost like that. I'm gonna have to. I was almost thinking about today if I get one of those like push button squeegees, like maybe like a smaller version of a mop bucket, or I'll just have to use my mop bucket at some point. I'm like, what am I gonna do when
toss the towel in there, man?
When the point is where I can't do this, you know what I mean? The point's gonna come where I can't do this. I can feel it coming, you know what I mean? And it's gonna be that it's the mop ringer. So I actually just bought a new mop bucket. Shout out you,
that yellow one, the industrial one.
Right.
Well, I got a red. I got a red one. I had to go with red, man. I was like,
you get the dangerous, hazardous chemicals mop bucket.
That's what makes us around here. That's what makes us human, right? The using of the tools. So make them work, man.
If I have to practice civil disobedience, I'm not abiding to any silly ordinances. I can get a red mop bucket if I want to.
You need to stencil that mop bucket with the setter. You need to stencil them on there.
I'm going to put one of those bad boys on there.
Just make sure you get a wet floor sign, Red. That's all I'm saying.
But I don't want
to all.
I will have to get a wet floor sign. Absolutely right. Gotta stay safe. I don't want to always. Yeah, I don't want to always have to
Yeah,
practice
always
the
remind
civil
yourself, 'cause
disobedience.
you'll
You know,
We'll get on the show
I-
one
I-
week and Becca busts her ass because you didn't put the wet floor sign up.
I'm still looking around. There's a lot of property that actually is adjacent to us, and I'm trying to figure this whole thing out. I'm still trying to dial this in on how I can make this happen. I'm gonna have to acquire property. It's gonna have to do
Wet-
rezoning. It's not gonna be
setter.
easy.
Wet setter sign.
Wet setter sign.
Tara's here.
Like, can they please
Holy
be
shit,
red?
I made
Tara?
it.
You don't have to be
Tara.
yellow.
Woo,
All right, you guys can
woo.
talk
Made it in
some
time
more.
for
I
head
said
gotta
sign.
Tara's
roll,
here.
Jordan.
Diamond jumped up and she's running to the door.
She's happy.
Oh, I'm
poor
sorry,
dog.
Diamond. I would love to pet you right
It is almost
now.
dab time.
Cheers, y'all. Goodness sakes. Taking me forever to get here. Hope everybody's
going
good
on?
tonight.
Cheers.
Tara's been trying
Crazy
to join
technical
us and having for
difficulties.
56 minutes.
Okay, not about. Let's not talk
And
tech.
didn't
How
give
you
up.
been?
Horrible.
I'm glad you didn't give up. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, guys.
We appreciate you.
I appreciate y'all.
Very classy of
Hope
you to
everybody's
slide in
good.
here right before hash time.
She's a
Perfect.
professional.
I know. You know how I am. I got to get my dads in. Ooh, yes.
Tara, I've been meaning to ask you because I know you guys
Big
are.
girl.
I know it's probably going to be a while, but I know you're still kind of in a temporary situation. But do you have any plans if your situation becomes a little more permanent to set up any type of personal growing at all anytime soon?
So, the place that we're at possibly could be a little bit more long term, but it's not looking too likely that it's
Okay.
going to happen that way. But I've already been offered some phones that were like ready to, you just needed to flip them and that they were ready to go. But I was afraid to do that where we're at. The lady that is renting to us right now is really good to us, and I don't want to take advantage of it. So,
Well, especially if you have
Um,
the opportunity to go long term, I suppose.
You don't risk it.
now, once April comes, we'll see what's going to happen. I don't know. Lots of things are in the process and churning, and Nuttree's had some new possibilities come his way recently. So there's lots of things in the
Nice.
cards
yeah.
going on.
Cool.
Nice, nice.
Yeah,
so I want
so
to ask a
see.
grow related
Good, guys.
question. Do you have like a pack of seeds or something that you're waiting to pop when you've got the
Too
opportunity?
many.
You guys know I have
Like
some
what's
packs
what's
of
on the top of
seeds.
your list that you want to start with when you have the chance to grow some plants?
So I still really, really, really want to pop those Altered Beast from Mantis. They
I knew you were going to say
it's
that.
I mean, it's my heart right. You know, I can feel it. And recently, Baked and I popped the strawberry pies from Raw Genetics, and he just recently harvested and stuck it in the freezer, and they're all ready for Dank Man as soon as he's back to feeling good again. Missing him so much, him and that 420 wife.
Get well soon,
But
Dan.
so yeah, we did at least do that. He's helping me out so much. Love you so much for doing that for us, Baked. Super excited to see how
He's a
those
good
turn out.
I saved 2 of those seeds for you, so there's 2. And then
Awesome.
you also have to come get this storm shadow from
I've got
Thunder
a storm shadow there.
because I've had it for
so
months.
Oh.
I know Thunder Dan. I'm gonna shout him out right now. I so
Was that
much
over at
love that
Vallis?
How
storm
big is
shadow
that?
Is that when we got
and
that
that
one?
banana Dan.
I just keep
Yeah, I
resetting
think
it.
it was
Right
over the
now,
Vallis
it's like this big.
I love you so much. Thank you. But that is so awesome, and I cannot wait to get it. I need to get it. I need that. I want it so bad. Recently,
own
High and
half a bottle of
Tight
Clorox.
recently brought me some Banana Daddy, so I got to get some
Shout out to Thunder
Thunder
Dan.
Dan Banana Daddy. So that was awesome to have again. That is something so freaking fine. So shout out Thunder Dan on that Banana Daddy. But I have to say that High and Tight and Everyday Mary J did a great job doing a nectar run of it. Super good, nice and tasty. They did a good job.
Hash time.
Hash time.
Nectar's good, but dang, is it a lot of bottles?
You know, it's a
Since
lot
we
of
can't-
work, but I do definitely I can tell the difference between, I mean, because obviously we use Jax, so I love the simplicity of Jax and the very cost efficientness of it. But man, nectar, I had some recently from Normish, and boy, you can really taste it immediately. You just can taste it. I had it from High and Tight. I could taste it. It just, I don't know. I can taste it's just very tasty flower. But then again, I just recently had some garlic cane from Old Man Herman Hash, and he's as organic as it gets and very tasty. So
Oh,
I
he
don't know. I
harvested
just,
those, didn't he?
I'm sorry, what?
Is that from the outdoor or is that from a new harvest?
I don't know, honestly. I'm
It's
gonna
probably been
lean
out.
towards outdoor, but I'm not 100% sure because the last time we talked, he had chopped down everything inside too. So
Right.
I'm
That's
not
what I was wondering.
100% sure.
Those lime skunk terps, though. Whew.
Ooh,
Oh my gosh, that
nice.
my heart was racing earlier after taking that first stab and then talking about all those regulations. You guys got me fired up. Lime skunk
Oh,
was making me want to swing.
I'm gonna go with some Mr. Nasty from Yeti.
That's the kind of energy you need to bring right before me, man.
Get them fired up in the parking lot.
Right. No, I actually, while we're kind of in between, I guess hours, if you will, I wanted to bring up
That's what we're down to.
This is
pretty
all
cool-
that's left for
Oh,
Girly.
what is that? Which ones are those?
I got clementine and orange sangria. Like
Ooh.
one dab. That's
Yeah.
all that's left. It's so sad. Didn't last. Did not last.
Didn't last.
I tried the orange
Holiday.
sangria.
There's like 7 grams, like I don't know, a few weeks ago. I don't know what happened to it all.
3 or 4.
It's all turned to vapor. And good experiences too. So
Great.
yep.
Good. That's what I like to hear. You got any
Most
favorites or anything like that stands out in particular?
Becca, you go.
I really like the orange sangria. I've like kept it around as like a really good daytime. Like I would do that in the morning before going to work. No, I don't do that before I go to work.
Caught herself.
And
Edit.
I also
Allegedly.
really liked, lime punch was really good. And the skunks, the lime skunks. I really like them all, dude. Even Monster Mash and Jungle Juice, the mixed ones, super cool, super tasty, different. They just burned a little different.
You mean going to work at the farm?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
my
Going to work at the farm.
that's my only job.
Where smoking is of course okay. We're not regulated by the MRA. So and that rhymed on purpose. I prefer lime skunk. It's a great
Dude.
daytime. It reminds me of Citrique in a lot of ways. I believe it has it's a cousin of itself somewhere in there. I think they're both from Exotic Genetics. Was it lime skunk from Exotic Genetics?
Lime skunk is, yes, correct.
Okay, yeah. I want to say that my Citrique has lime skunk in it. I think it's one of the parent stocks.
You know
so-
what? That's interesting. I can taste that.
Can you? Yeah.
Yeah.
It very much so reminds me of it.
Bingo.
Mr. Cheese, is that what that is?
Mr. Clean.
Mr.
it's-
Clean.
Old
I
school.
think I brought it up before. Why is it not focusing? Come on.
Is that a lemon?
Oh, there we go.
So this
I
is
just have
a,
terrible eyes.
this is a gift from one of my clients actually, and lime skunk crossed with the cube, and I have it in flower right now. I have one female and one male, and it is so insanely stacked. I should get a picture of it. It's pretty leafy,
Terps?
and it doesn't want to
I have
spread out very
crossed
much.
the cube.
Terps are a very small hint on the lime, and then I haven't really identified
Okay.
what the rest of it is yet. I
That's
only
cool that lime
recently,
skunk comes through.
yeah, very, very small amount of it. I think we'll see. Kind of the end. I think it's at week 5. I want to say maybe right now. So we're just kind of getting there to the, close to the peak, if you will, of production. So we'll see in a couple weeks kind of where we're at with the terp profile. But in terms of output and volume and frost level, it is crazy. It's wild. It's not like super big, like hazy type nugs. It definitely is at week 5. It's very much just, golf balls all the way up. But I mean, it's like 3 feet from the 650R, just on the, I believe it's in a 7-gallon smart pot with on it like a 2-inch riser off the floor. Top of it, it didn't stretch very much. It's not a huge plant, so it's a few feet from where the light is, I think.
Could I get it in a 2x2?
Oh yeah, you Yeah, for sure you could in the 5
It's
to 7
great for
gallon pot,
space. You know what I
easily.
mean? Yeah.
Here's my concern though, is it's so dense and it's so thick, and there are quite a few big, heavy, hefty sized leaves. I needed to spread it out. And I didn't put it in a scrog net. I didn't even stake it up. I literally just threw it into my flower room to see what it did. It's the one from seed. I've got clones of it in the bedroom. And I'm gonna need to spread this thing out because I'm worried now that there's not going to be enough airflow or movement through the plant, and then you start seeing leaves overlap and
So,
start getting wet.
I
Do you
wanna
think it's
see
going to be
it
an
now
early
for
training
growing.
and topping thing, or do you think it's just laying it down?
No, because I topped the crap out of it because I cloned the crap out of it. I think I took 2 rounds of clones actually from it before I threw it in a flower. So it's probably a couple months old. I think it's I don't necessarily think that super cropping is the way because it is such a level canopy on its own.
Right.
It's just its tower of nugs. I think you need to put it into a scrog net and really just bend those branches as they go out, and I think it might actually kind of self-manage its canopy that way.
I used to use tomato cages for that shit, man.
Kind of genetics.
I would jam a tomato cage in there and I would open it all up, and because the hardest part is putting it in there too late. When you're like
Yeah.
going into flower, you're like, oh man, I gotta dodge this one and hopefully not break this arm, and oops.
I
then,
still have another
tying it
layer of
down.
trellis to put on, and I'm like 4 or 5 weeks into flower. And like right at that point where they're about to start like
They need it.
doing the lean, yeah. I really got to start putting them on, or else it's just going to be like side light bud,
So this
Pain
is
in
a
the
good
ass.
time to segue into saying, for Groli, I wanted to see your plant, and
Hey,
we want to do a new segment where we show the viewers buds, show the viewers plants on the show, and we have a section of our Discord where people do that, so we can
Link in the
share
chat?
that and see. We can just share it on screen.
oh
Look
wonderful.
at some of the viewers' stuff that they're
Doing
growing
shout
on
outs on
Discord.
these?
So this is GMO from Working Class Stoner right here. He got this cut from me, I think. And this is KY Jealous from Working Class Stoner.
Frosty.
Is there any way to make the pictures in a bigger sequence?
I don't think there's any easy way to make it bigger now. Because if I open it here, it opens it in another screen.
Oh, okay.
And then maybe I can, yeah.
That's okay. Just curious.
Let's see.
Trichomes.
Was that a cat hair?
This is Indica here.
I'm gonna pretend it was, so I feel better.
That's funny.
Sometimes there's a cat hair. Sometimes there's a
Ooh,
gnat.
what's that?
There is at my house.
Cuvée. This is Cuvée from
Oh,
Indica
that's the
B.
Spartan.
The Spartan. Got
Yeah,
him this
man.
cut.
Yeah, it looks great, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
So
a pretty
frosty.
one.
It's just never really yielded. And as you can see, the buds just are like medium sized. They don't really get
Ooh,
huge.
that's a pain in the ass to trim.
Hey, when
What's
I got a
that?
post-worthy photo and there's like a gnat, I'm like, fucking gnat. Get that fucker out of there.
Who's root ball?
Let's do a root shot here. Don Duja. Jim Owen here. Your Jim's in the chat right
Jim's in
now.
the chat right now. Yeah, it
Jim
looks
and
good.
Jeffrey.
Man. Hell yeah.
Shout out, Jim.
Looks good. Red, speaking of shots like that, where you have something in the camera that fucks the whole shot up,
The beast.
Sequence's new camera, new phone, he can just tap certain parts of a photo and it erases them from the photo.
Ooh.
Ayahuasca
that's super
purple right
cool.
here.
Yeah, you can erase
Yeah.
people.
Oh, that's way cool.
How does it do that?
It's so cool.
It is
I
pretty
saw it
cool.
take a picture of like Times Square Crossway, and then delete every single person in that picture.
What?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can do, I
And it had
deleted
a
a monkey out of a
background? It had-
picture.
Behind what it was?
That's crazy. Yeah, like
Yeah.
cloned it.
How?
It makes
How
it
Yeah.
look
In-
a little
integrated
different.
smart Photoshop technology,
It's a
man.
Google phone, man.
Crazy.
Painted lady, we got a question in the chat for you there. The sequence has got
Every
highlighted.
line is a layer.
No, dude, I do
Link brush?
not have a solution because I even went and had my duct work clean because finally I was wearing, just like you said, jumpsuits. I was wearing Tyvek suits every time I go in there and everything, and I was still getting cat hair on my buds, and I finally figured out it's just coming in through the ducts. and there's not really anything that you can do other than regularly clean your fans that are blowing on. If you got fans that are blowing around the room, clean those fan blades all the time. Wear the jumpsuit.
Can you close the duct to the room?
No, you know what you can do, and I've done this, is at the duct, where the duct comes into the room, rather than closing it, put an adapter on it and put a HEPA filter on it. You might reduce some of the incoming air, like it doesn't come in as fast through it. I put one of those cone HEPA filters on them. You get a 6-inch round one, and you can get an adapter that goes from a 6-inch HVAC, air conditioning tube to a whatever it is,
Square
like
register.
a 4x10 register size. Yeah, you can get and that's basically what it is that's the one that it's coming up under with, right? You're just putting another one on top, because it's usually round pipe underneath the house, and then it comes up into this square one. Unless it's going through the walls, then it's sometimes they just use your walls for your ducting themselves.
Just cut a hole for the vent.
Yeah, they just cut a hole for the vent. Or a lot of times that's just a return. Usually returns are in that respect, but I have I'll also close off my returns in my grow spaces and utilize the exhaust fan. I'll have an exhaust hooked up to my grow. That way the stinky air doesn't get circulated throughout the house or
something. Room.
Yep. And so the exhaust will take care of cleaning the air and then dumping it out or wherever it has to go, if you need to do that. Sealed room now, but whatever.
That's about the only other alternative.
I still utilize all those old grow rooms, but one day I'll shut those fans off. Fucking 10-inch fans been running almost 10 years, dude.
When you turn your fans off or when the power goes out, it's so fucking weird. You're like, wow, it's quiet.
It got quiet in this house. Power goes out, it's like, I'm like, whoa. Like a spaceship powering down. Everything stops vibrating. It used to be way worse. Like when I actually had production here, it was so much worse. Yeah, my electric bill used to be 3 times as what it is now. It was so loud. Everything rattled in this house. It was hot. I didn't have an air conditioner in my house. I was exhausting into a bedroom, and then that bedroom's door would just open and like feeding my house with hot air. And so it was like summertime. I was dying. All the windows were open. My poor dog was fucking just dead. But this is like a long time ago.
Early days, man.
Early days, yeah.
Sounds rough,
7, 8 years ago. Yeah, 7. This same house, 7, 8 years ago. Fucking A, man. Yeah, it's time to do something else. I think, man. We've been talking about that change thing. I'm looking at land and property that like are in my area and stuff. I'm looking for agricultural land. There's a decent amount in my area. See what I can do. Try to follow some of these ordinances the best of my ability so that I can continue, so I can actually build relationships. I don't want to be underground so much. I want to be able to have community activities take place. You know what I mean? I want to be able to have people over and do stuff. I don't want it to just be limited to fucking cutting the grass and keeping up the property so no one talks shit or says anything and gotta fucking, you know what I mean? Don't want to.
Yeah, you gotta kind of play ball.
Yeah, I don't even want to have a compost pile. It's ridiculous. I want to be, and not to mention, there's a lot of lakes in my neighborhood. And I really want to do something to help preserve.
So you're gonna start calling the DEA for seed
That's not part of the ordinance.
Thankfully, that's not part of our.
One of the things is that we'd have to live there full time.
We would have to live there full time.
So that's part of it if we want to build the relationships and start a real farm more than just cannabis.
And I was looking at this 5-acre thing in the language of the township. I'm not sure what it is in other townships, but for anything to be considered a farm, whether it's horses, food, whatever, it has to be 5 acres. It's 5 acres in our township. I think some townships it's 20 acres is a farm. Thankfully, they're not limiting us to that. Good God. But it is pretty it's strange and restrictive. I can understand
it's pretty restrictive to call a caregiver a commercial farm.
It is. I'm seeing 5.5 acre facilities with 20,000 plant limits, and it's crazy that, so like there's a huge gap. Granted, those facilities have paid their dues and lots, and it's like $40,000 for
Did you say granite?
Did you say granite?
Granite. Granted, granite. I like granite.
I
You know,
wasn't
Easy
gonna
Fred Flintstone.
correct him until
I
you
like
did.
I like
Sequence.
geology though. It's nice. It's a nice stone. It has
Keep
colors
going, keep
to
going.
it, flakes. I
Sorry.
mean, they do pay their dues. You got to think 5 licenses at 40K. That's a good 200K. I'm not paying that for all my patients. So I mean, if I got to pay a few hundred, hopefully not a few 100,000 for property. Good God.
Pay to play, baby.
But you know, I want to do more than cannabis. Also, you know, I do want to do permaculture. I talk about it all the fucking time. You know, I just want to expand what I currently have and expand on that and build more relationships, man, as we're doing and bring cannabis into play. I like healing, you know, right? So I want healing plants, and cannabis is up there. It's in the upper echelon. So that's what, you know, unfortunately we're gonna have to move to try to figure something out. You know, hopefully some other caregivers won't have to have such difficulties and they'll be able to grow in their home. But I can understand, like Fragrolia said, the you know, devil's advocate side of the thing, where, you know, people do move into townships or just rent and buy, and then they use an entire lot or home, in this case all 3-4 bedrooms or whatever, and just grow plants out of it, and they don't live there. Now, I did look at a lot of properties in my township, and it's a lot of cottage homes, so I'm not the only person who doesn't live in my property. You know, it's a lot of people there, so that's definitely not one of their arguments. That can't be. So there's a lot of
Otherwise,
people
you're building a micro home, right?
Yeah. So I want to fix up the land. There's a lot of agriculture, large agriculture on the lakes. You know what I mean? And I want to like acquire some of this land to stop that large scale agriculture, stop the phosphates from going into the groundwater, going into the lakes, polluting, clouding up with algae and all that bullshit. There's large ponds on property, just they're light green from a satellite with algae. It's right there on ag land. You know what's going on with it. It's all because of the fertilizer feed. And a lot of that stuff is runoff going right into these lakes, man. So I just want to help out that area. I think it's just, you know, one small little bit of land at a time, and hope to build a community out there and keep growing. You know, Irish Hill is a beautiful area, man.
Basket really big on PGRs, bro.
Yes, I can imagine. Dude, I'm very curious of you know, just if a lot of people knew what was really in. I mean, I'll eat fish out of the lake. You know, we go fishing and I'll still eat the fish, but
people know.
I
Fish
really
are delicious, bro.
I really feel like
so we gotta eat them.
I'd rather
Fish
have a
are
better
friends,
option,
not food,
you know?
asshole.
Just had cat for dinner.
I do like to fish, man. And I'd prefer like.
Do you not eat fish, abolished, because you like them like
buddies?
I didn't like to eat fish before I was a fish keeper.
No flounders?
To be fair, but yeah.
So you've never woken up to a fish floating in your tank and then ate it?
Oh God, no.
Ooh, that's a stinky fish.
That's weird.
I have given
That's
to
not
the kitty.
normal.
The kitties
Not
outside.
normal.
Yeah, that's the catfish. You give the
Sounds
cat
like
that
sushi.
fish.
No.
Yum.
Roll it up, right?
No, Abolish, I am going to get with you heavy, man. Once I do acquire a good chunk of ag land, dude, the first thing I'm going to do is build a greenhouse, not just for plants, but for fish. I'm actually going to aquaponics.
Oh, you're gonna hook it together?
That'd be
Hell
amazing.
yeah.
That'd be cool.
100%. 100%. I would.
The
I
tilapia.
think that's one of the best ways to grow, honestly. If you're doing out like greenhouse, or if you have a way, because you're creating a lot of protein, you're creating a lot of usable waste. Let me just say that. Like, all of the waste that you're creating is all reusable. You can gather almost limitless nutrition just out of the fish poo and utilize that out in your garden beds, and I mean it just continues on, you know. Or you can give it to other growers or whatever. I mean, it's just, you know, aquaponics has a lot going on with it. So
It's a lot more microbes.
yeah,
I can't
Yeah, that
wait till you can give
biodiversity
me your
does a
fish
lot.
poo, Red.
and it probably, like, I understand it's really technical, like with Steve, the shit that Steve talks about having to do like the dual layers. I don't know if I'd be able to run aquaponics like for my cannabis. I don't
You
think I'm
use a
necessarily
freeze
talking
dryer
about
to
that.
make the fish poo stuff?
Dude, you
That's
could
a
do
good
it.
question.
You just
What?
he's got a
Ooh, yeah.
got a whole course you can take online.
Yeah.
The
I
APP.
thought it's just in the system.
Yeah, I mean, I would. It's just a lot. It's a big system. you know what I mean, to have the plants over the tray, over the what
It does
would be
add a lot of height to the
troughs. You
thing.
know what I mean? For me, I would utilize it more for I think food production, and then utilize the ground.
Shout out to Steve, man. Yeah, he's been all over the place with this.
And use the compost and whatnot, because I want to rebuild the soil, dude. It's all old. You know what happens to the soil, man, when they just feed it with fertilizer for 20 years. It's dead. It's not soil. What am I talking about? The
Gets
clay.
tanked,
I'm just
bro.
gonna call it clay.
Soilless
It's
media.
dirt. It's dirt.
Soilless
it's
media.
dirt.
The way he does it,
Darn
he makes
dirt.
living soil. That's what he does
Yeah.
up there.
Mhm.
And I don't know. Sounds good to me.
Yeah. And then I want to turn all that dirt into soil, you know, at a large scale. I've been working
Shout
on
out
it
to
for a
Abolished
while.
on that video on the part 1 of the simplified frugal bed, man. That's going to be cool. I watched it this morning.
I can't wait to share the rest of it with you guys.
There were some plants in there.
It's been pretty fun. It's been a fun journey, that's for sure. Yeah, I'll have there should be another episode out this Saturday, unless I put something else out Frugal Force wise. The new plan is to hopefully get some frugal content out every Saturday. We've got a few people working on stuff.
Sweet.
But thanks
had
for everybody for
another-
checking that out, though. It broke like 500 views in like a
Yeah,
day.
really quick. I saw that right when I was making the premiere for this, and I was like, oh, damn. That was really nice. I was wondering if anyone was going to grow any non-cannabis plants in the wintertime. Maybe get your off-season strawberries or tomatoes or anything like that in your veg tent or in your flower room.
I was thinking about doing some of those Baker Creeks that I picked up, the ones that I've been showing on the show for like 10,000 years that I just still haven't planted all of them yet. But I don't know which ones to grow. Like I'm trying to
Sunflowers.
figure out which ones to
We
grow.
got a kale in the chat.
I don't know, like what I would like, how much space I would need, and what kind of.
What grows well in that environment?
It's definitely
Yeah.
almost time to start planting seeds, for sure. Greens, you could probably start getting greens if you have yourself
Growing your
like-
greens.
if you have some kind of like a cover. I don't know if like a caterpillar tunnel, some kind of like even plastic
Praying mantis wall.
like plastic teepee or just something small, you know, plastic tent or something you can put out there to keep it slightly insulated. You can get your greens going almost at like the end of February, early March. But if you started your seed, you'd have to start your seeds almost now. You know, get them like, hey, big, you got a couple little leaves. You can go in the ground as long as the ground's not frozen. I don't think the ground's going to be frozen 3 or 4 weeks from now. I think like it. I mean, we're fluttering freezing temperatures basically.
Shut
It's
up,
going to get
baby.
cold. It's going to get in the negative temperatures, but we're basically fluttering. Like it was like 40 today. Out the snow melted again. It's just going to keep back and forth in that. At least around here, I'm in zone 5. I'm like 5A, so that's very different than like I think even north of like 20 miles north of us, it changes drastically. Like you get up into like the Flint region, which is like 20 miles north of me, and 30
It
miles.
depends on
north.
what side of the state you're on
Totally.
too, right?
Oh, yeah,
'Cause, I mean,
yeah.
there's a huge snow belt on the west
Yeah.
side of the state, and northern, obviously.
Laughing
North-
and east
North-
We
side,
don't
baby.
really have that.
Northwest, yeah. We used to have it. It's all gone.
Well,
you
okay,
know?
let's go back to this original question the sequence was talking about. Paint Lady was showing off some good stuff. You don't have to give up a whole like 3 plants worth of room, but there's always a little bit of residual light that's hanging around the edges of
Yeah.
your garden that you could put a small
Lettuces,
setup
dude.
in.
You can put your lettuces in a little
I baked.
bowl.
Yeah.
Get your lettuces started in a bowl.
Okay, so
Keep that bowl
that's,
in place.
that's pretty.
Good time to start tomatoes, like she's got right there.
Yeah, if you have like a little veg rack that you're propagating on, you can
Right.
start some of these
Carrots, you're
seeds.
gonna want to sow in the ground. I wouldn't start your carrots yet. I would wait
Beets.
until the ground's ready to
And
go.
loose soil too. That's been I suck at
Too
growing.
compact.
You could
root bearing
probably
plants.
start your dill. You could
We need
probably
some
start your
lavender.
lavender.
This is basil.
Basil. Okay.
You could hold off on your basil. It's a quick
Huckleberry.
sprouter and grower.
Red meat be
But
my huckleberry.
nonetheless,
These are
oh,
tomatoes.
yeah, that's nice. You might even be able to get that huckleberry going if it suckers a
Do you
bush.
know
What
if,
kind of tomato is that?
The purple one.
It's crazy.
It's almost time, man. Yeah, because if I mean,
Ooh,
it depends on how
peppers.
much space you do want to save inside, right? Because you're gonna get these cold. You can't just
like
like
those.
throw
We have
everything
those.
outside.
We harvested
In
some of those
March.
this year. They were really
These?
tasty. Yeah.
I think
the
I've had those
purple-
I'm
the
excited
purple
about
reds
beans.
Yeah.
before. Yeah.
Those were actually good purple beans.
They
They weren't.
tasted
They weren't
good.
only
These are
fiber.
tomatoes, zebra tomatoes.
Cook them, they turn green.
Oh shit. Yeah.
Yeah, they tend to lose the anthocyanin
Granny.
when you
Those look
cook it.
Granny
Same.
Cantrell.
I want to
Sandwich
do something
tomatoes.
cool with these and do like a table, build like a
That's
little
dope.
sofa table.
That's cool.
Yeah, like a
got those.
blooming table.
Yeah, yeah.
Those
I
things
would
are
love
cool.
I wonder if they randomly have any like San Pedros in there or
San Pedro. Let's
I
just
don't
have
know.
that
You can
one
get
out.
them. They're legal.
Peruvian torch in there or
Yeah.
something.
Yeehaw.
I don't know. I've never grown it. It says I need to get some sort of like
You
cactus.
can you can
soil or
occasionally
something.
find them at box stores if you're lucky.
So this year we had a pumpkin that was like this big. I think you showed it on the show. I think you showed it on the show.
I may have actually showed
of a
it on
really
the
big
show.
pumpkin.
Giant pumpkin.
And we took all the seeds out of them and dried them. And I just put a couple in pots to see if they'll sprout. So we might have some really big pumpkins coming.
Seed
Heck yeah.
giveaway.
That's I'll jump in on that too because I'm on my third or fourth year. I think this will be our fourth generation of mammoth sunflowers. I know you guys had some of
Sweet.
those.
Yeah.
Yes.
We planted hundreds and hundreds of them, and my wife harvested thousands upon thousands of seeds. So we have like jars and jars and jars and jars, and we've
I'm in that boat.
been gifting them. Yeah.
Yep.
So
Oh, hook me up, dude.
How do you
I
dry
gladly.
those?
We actually
Chocolate.
we took those big round weed drying racks that are like 8 shelves. They're just
Oh, the old school ones. Yeah.
Yep, just threw them all in there, filled up 8 racks, 6 racks or something full.
Hell yeah.
Oh,
Hell
nice.
yeah.
Great repurposing.
I laid all mine out on a table. Most of them, not most of them. Some of them got moldy. I had to throw some of the heads away.
Mine did.
Some of our pumpkin seeds did. That was kind of disappointing because similar,
yeah,
trying
that
to grow big
sucks.
pumpkins and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, you really gotta lay the stuff out, dude. Especially when you're doing. I did that. I did thousands of some because I had so many different varieties. Right, I had a bunch of different varieties, and they all cross pollinated. So I have like mammoths that are like as tall as super giants, and they have these super tiny heads. They're like mammoths with huge leaves and super tiny heads. They're super weird looking. It looks like they got hit with a
sunflowers.
yeah, Beetlejuice. Yep, exactly.
It's cold out, Red.
And then
It's
some that are
bizarre,
red like
dude.
that.
Super bizarre. And yeah, and then I had a really tall one with a red head on it too
But it was
because
like
it got
this big.
pollinated with the
Oh,
red
tall
velvet.
Sally. Yeah.
Red velvets only get like 5 or 6 feet tall. You know what I mean? It was super bizarre. Volunteers were doing the same thing. So those are the kind of seeds I have. I have
Wild shit.
misfit hybrids. If anybody wants some misfit hybrid ones, I totally have that.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. Did you separate those seeds out? Because we just took all our mammoth. We were going to do it, you know what I mean? But then by the
We
time
didn't this year. I didn't keep any of them.
variety.
I was going to. I gave them all to the squirrels. I chopped everything up and just dropped it all in place. I don't think I kept any of the seeds.
We still have so much from the year before.
Yeah, and that's the main reason. So I can grow those batches again and then save the seeds. I would like to kind of isolate. Yeah, I grew so many of the varieties that I had because I got mine in like paper bags to kind of like help get rid of some of the moisture over the winter time and things like that. So it is kind of time to get in there and like jar them up. And fucking year old, man. I have too many. Like Painted Lady, I got a whole like same deal, like probably like ammo box style. Like I keep all my cannabis seeds in, but like tote of fucking vegetable seeds, plus vegetable seeds from past many years, plus more vegetable seeds from past many years, plus all kinds of vegetable seeds that I pulled from my own garden. It's like my apocalypse box. Too bad it'll take me an hour and a half to pack my truck to get the hell out of town just because I have so much fucking seeds.
Don't forget the seeds.
But I mean, that's my main thinking is like, I just want to have all of the, have it available, for whatever reason. I can't source some, I've waited too long, gone to the store to go get sunflower seeds and they're just not on the shelf. Go to another, they're just nowhere to be found. Sunflowers are very popular.
Do you or do you not have a preferred zombie weapon already at the hand? That's the question.
I mean, I suppose I have what I could use. Or
how good are you at putting nails in a baseball bat?
Bag of weed right here. Shove it in the zombie's mouth.
Don't do that.
Lock your door and wait
What
for
a
it.
waste.
But what happens when you get a zombie high? Maybe something cool. You never know.
Maybe they come back.
Maybe come back.
Or they're just nice. They're like, no, Keep going.
So, what's the
favors.
longest anyone has stepped
paper
foot in a
cut.
garden before? Because I just fully automated for 10 days, completely successful. My entire garden.
Hell yeah, man.
Didn't step foot in it once. Came back, nothing was drooping, nothing was dead, nothing was falling over. There was no leaks from pipes, no pumps spraying water anywhere, no, heaters that were shut off or anything like that. It was
You got 10 days. Is that what you said?
kind of a miracle. Yeah.
Nice. I want
Was
to
it
get
the
10.
limit to your res? Like the only reason you had to go back in was because the res was there, or you just wanted to do maintenance?
Well, I came back in because I was just gone for 10 days,
Vacation was over. That's why
Yeah. So by the time I got back, I was panicking, just looking, like, oh God, please everything, but I got so many controls and so many app controlled devices and monitors and graphs.
Yeah, I was going to
from
ask
where you
what are the safeguards? So what do you have monitoring the room? And
So I have a pulse in every room, and I only run CO2 in my flower room. So there's a Pulse Pro in there that monitors my CO2. There's all of my irrigation is controlled via a Trollmaster, which is also app enabled, so I can adjust if necessary from kind of anywhere in the world as long as I have internet. That also goes for my dehumidification and my lighting, the dimming or the timing or the on and off of lighting, anything like that. What else? The AC is just kind of set to what it's set at. The heat is set to what it's set at. What else? I mean, that's pretty much everything. CO2 is controlled by the app as well, but that's kind of just, left and set at a certain percentage. There's cameras, in every room, and,
Right.
so I can check in on things if need be, if I do see that something's off. But
Is it
yeah, I
liberating?
mean, absolutely. But it also, as a grower, you typically, or you should, but we're most likely checking on our plants at least once a day. You know what I mean? Especially if it's like a tent we got in a spare bedroom or out in the garage. Like we're probably going to look at our babies a couple times a day, let alone spending possibly hours, working with them. So to not, basically have that ability to spend any time physically with your plants is pretty nerve-wracking. But, I've been doing this for a long time. I've been championing automation on these live streams for years, and I trust in the system that I've built. And I was fortunate enough to be successful in what I set up. Now, I will say that I typically only run 2 reses in my flower room because that's enough to get me through a week. But I had 10 days, and so I essentially split up one side of my room and added an additional irrigation system entirely with, pumps and the new res and the new pumps, the piping, the FloorFlex distribution valve or manifold, connecting it in each different pot, making sure it's timed and scheduled appropriately for those size pots, and adding nutrients to it, it's, so on and so forth. I essentially set up a 3rd irrigation system in that room because I had to go a little bit longer than I normally would. And I knew that if I didn't do that, I probably would be coming back to some thirsty plants. So that's not what I wanted.
Was that easier than just plumbing your 3rd res into your existing plumbing, like
That's what I was
TN
wondering.
and then?
So I actually initially set up the whole room to run off of 1 res, and I have since, created 3 different irrigation systems. That first irrigation system does have a T-valve that comes off with a ball valve, and then a connection that you could connect another pump to, a whole nother side of the room, whatever you wanted. I've ran 2 pumps off of the one system, and I've run 2 reses off that one kind of manifold system. And I've also ran 1 res running to 2 different sides of the room as well. So, adding a couple extra valves or a couple extra T connections and, those screw-in fittings with these PVC.
Always
unions,
use
that's the
union
word.
fittings, man.
Yep.
You'll save it, because otherwise you'll be that guy that's got to constantly cut shit apart and be like, damn, I got to go buy all these new weird ass fittings. Just put a union in the middle.
Dude, okay,
Dude,
it's
that
all,
adds so much more costs when you're doing like 4 or 5 reses.
It does,
Dude who's cutting my
but
PVC,
it's a one-time deal because pumps fail.
It's an
You
extra
should at least have a
$3
union on each side of your pump. if nothing
$3.
else, just so you can.
Nowadays they're like
disconnect that.
$7-8 a piece. Fuck.
Yeah, that's true, man.
So much
I mean,
more
they've at least
cost.
doubled. But I will say, because I've done so much of this, I had everything I needed except I think one T, one Union,
One ball
and
valve.
no, yeah, a ball valve. It was a ball valve because I wanted to shut off on somewhere. But I mean, all in all, that's $15. I had the pumps left over. I just re-cleaned them and threw them in there. Even the Floorflex manifold I had all the hosing still from previously redoing the irrigation and the other portions. I even had a leftover timer, the electronic timer portion. So it was pretty easy, and all in all, not crazy expensive. But I'm not intending to continue this way. I'm at this point where it's like, well, now I could push my room 10 days, but I have no reason to do that. I still want to do weekly res changes. So it's like, I don't really want to break down this irrigation system I set up. Do I just maybe fill up the reses 3/4 of the way now?
That's what I would do. Turn up your lights 30% more.
Kick it up a notch, baby.
I've always wondered if I should. My ballast can go up to 1,200 watts. I'm like, I don't know if I want
But
to.
can your electrical budget go up 1,200 watts?
Yeah. I got the amp leverage. I just don't know if I want to bust the bank to do that. If my plants will
wallet,
even
yeah.
care. Yeah, I don't know if it's even worth it. I'm sure I'm over 1,000. I don't know what I am. I have to bring a fucking power meter in there, of
They're
course.
expensive, yeah.
But yeah.
Pulse Pro.
I love being automated, man. My grow's an hour away from my house. It's very difficult for me to get there every day or every other day. So I'm usually there, like, if not every other day, every third day or so. When I have to be gone, it's at most 7 days for me, on my res. And that's only because I need to fill my res. Everything on all of my environmentals stay the same. I never touch them. Throughout the seasons, I don't touch any of my environmentals. Everything stays the same, just because of the way that my rooms are insulated. Nothing really fluctuates much. My dehumidifier usually is the thing that's heating my room the most. So if I need backup heat is when my heaters will turn on. So then they'll only usually get ran in the winter time. So, but that's all on automated sensors. I don't even turn off my heaters in the summertime just because they just won't run if they don't need to run. And if my room says they need to run, if it's too cold in the summertime, then they need to run, so they're just always on. I don't change much, but daylight savings, I have to change some shit because it's app based and the times will change, so I have changed some timers and stuff. So otherwise everything's usually just running and I add nutrients. Now I can leave if I leave all my valves open for all of my master pump, all of my main water supply. If I leave the valves open for my main water supply, like my RO main, not for my RO filter, but I have a main reservoir that I fill with RO water. I run that. I run my RO reservoir with my phone through an Alexa app, like an Alexa plug. So I have an Alexa plug that pumps water and it just pumps my main. And then when I'm in my grow rooms, I have 2 reservoirs in each bloom room. So I can pick which reservoir I need to turn with just a basic ball valve, and then that'll fill up my reservoir. So I could just basically leave all my ball valves open in whatever reservoirs empty first, because all of my plants, it's all perpetual. So each plant's at a different phase, getting fed at different frequencies. One of my reservoirs is going to lower first, and I can just have that ball valve open. In theory, I've done this in the past. So, and then I'll just, from my phone, wherever I'm at, as long as I have signal, I can turn on my pump for usually it's 3 minutes, and it will completely drain the reservoir or drain it enough to put water into that reservoir. And I've gotten maybe 8 or 9 days, I think, at most. But I don't like to go any more than 3 or 4, to be honest, even on an automated scale, just because these fail safes and things like that. Never know. Things just I like to be in there. I like to be checking on them and being around them. But vacation, I get 7 days tops. So here I'm hand watering here. It sucks. I can't leave them. So that's the bad thing about that. If I'm leaving for that, I automate it by butt chugging. I go the old abolish route, and I just fill up trays. I fill up 10, 20 trays, drop my plant right in a 10, 20 tray, and fill a 10, 20 tray with water or something if I can.
Yeah, it used to be all flood and drain, man. You could walk away for a week at any point.
Oh yeah,
It's
yeah.
so good.
No, that's the way to do it, man. But dude, I love automated systems. Listening to you talk about Fagroli, listening to you talk about automated systems back on
Way
GrowTube,
back on
way back,
GrowTube.
and talking about how you needed to like leave for a week or something. I'm like, that's how I need to think. I need to be able to leave for at least a week, a good solid 7 days. So I figured out all my parameters and figured it out. I got a good 7 days out of it. You know, I need more. I need to be able to get out of town for a couple weeks at a time.
Get these
you know?
festivals in.
That's when
something
you hire employees.
Right. Yeah. Anything more than 10 days, that's a stretch, man.
Yeah. I mean, and you better have a contingency plan regardless. You know what I'm saying?
Seriously. That's a stretch, man. I can't imagine. I can imagine how like panicked you were when you got back around.
Eventually, you just got to take some leaves off those things too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another tip.
There's some work you got to do in the garden occasionally.
Yeah.
For sure, yeah, and unfortunately, I kind of had it timed right where it wasn't like in between, like the day 0 and 15 for the most part, or at the end even. Where it wasn't. I don't think anything was in week 6 while I was gone. So there's the positive side of just big production changes, or how much the plant wants to drink. But yeah, I mean it's scary, but I was glad to do it. I probably I don't really intend to do that ever again, but it was kind of fun seeing that what we can build is capable of that. And I know people have set up grow rooms to essentially be automated from start to finish, from what I understand, where you can just kind of peek in the glass window or whatever, open the. But you're missing out on a lot. That's you basically got a factory at that point, and I think you're missing quite
a lot of great smells.
Yeah, don't schedule vacations when you have to take clones or any of that stuff that you really don't want to be gone for more than 48 hours or fucking 12 hours, shoot, 6 hours. If you have giant moms, you haven't up potted them in a really, really long time. You can't leave them. They're super thirsty. Terrible time to go out of town.
Just like people, plants need time and attention paid to them, or they don't thrive. So yeah, you can do it, and for Growly, that's awesome that you can go and leave. But I think that they really don't thrive unless they're really spent quality time with and paid attention to.
You want to hear the crazy thing? I actually, I did this knowing that I had clones, and these were just small plants, but I had these 2 clones that were kind of lagging behind, and they were in 1 gallon pots, and I think I've been transplanting everything into 5 gallon pots. I think from the 1 gallon pots recently, and they were rooted in the 1 gallon pots. I topped them, threw them in the 5 gallon pots like the day before I was leaving. Didn't have the willpower at that point, to basically hook up these 2 plants to the irrigation system and risk, everything else on this line, because I was already kind of pushing the limits of my veg room irrigation system. I just transplanted them, poured as much water as I possibly could at them, filled up the tray, and left them for 10 days. And I came back and they still weren't even droopy, because it was soil, it wasn't cocoa, and that was enough to hold enough moisture in that pot for them to seek out and find it and survive 10 days. And I'm kind of impressed, because those were the things I was most worried about, and they were like the 2 weakest plants in my entire garden. You know what I'm saying? So it's wild, man. This plant is wild.
If all else fails, you can always turn your lights down a little. Your plants will definitely need less water.
Cloudy days.
They'll go a lot longer.
Yeah, I'll even change my water frequency, turn it down even a little bit, just enough so that they don't droop, but enough
stretch it out a little more.
Stretch it out just as
You're
much as I
vibrating
can.
your water, Rhett?
Vibrating it, I guess. Yeah, is that what it said? Vibrating the water?
Your water frequency?
My water frequency. Yeah, that one. Yeah, my frequency.
880 hertz
It's
water.
a new technology.
What's the frequency, Kenneth?
You're definitely giving away a personal IP over here.
My bad.
I didn't mean to explain it.
You did a Freudian slip and explained your whole
I
SOP.
put batteries in my reservoirs. There, I told you all.
Polarity science, it all makes sense now.
Vibrators.
Don't put batteries in your reservoirs. I don't want to accidentally shock somebody. That'd be bad. Don't do that. But I do agree with Painted Lady, in a lot of senses. I really wish that I could be around my plants a lot more. I wish I could live there. Wish I could stop in every day and say what's up. And
Pitch
pop
a hammock
them.
up in there.
Yeah, it'd be a lot better.
That'd be so cool.
Yeah, it would be.
I'll put a
Who's done that?
hammock in the grow room.
I was inspired by Medicropper to do that. I've done it.
Really? That's cool.
I've been
Yeah,
trying.
I've taken a
figure
nap
out,
in my grow room
like,
before, for sure.
I'd have to go up.
Smoked a little too much GMO, huh, friend?
High up.
If I could get
That's
above
awesome.
the canopy,
It's nice and warm.
down,
Yeah.
I'd be like real close to the lights. I'd get a really good suntan on like part of my body.
Okay.
Is that why that mole's growing on your back, Red?
Oh yeah, that one. Yeah, that's a grower. Definitely wear your Method 7s. I didn't have them bad boys on yesterday, and I was like, man, I gotta put those Method 7. My eyes are fucking bugging me. 4 hours later, I was like, fuck, I forgot to put fucking glasses on still. My eyes were like fucked. I was like, geez, man.
They are really nice.
Yeah,
I'll go and Painted
let's
Ladies
go.
grow with her for like 5 minutes without
Did
glasses
you
on.
show your
It's so
pair?
fun.
I got Becca a pair. She got one of the newer pairs. They finally got ladies frames, or at least if you're gonna genderize set of frames, I got ladies frames now. Got some nice tortoise.
Yeah, tortoise.
I got her the
shell.
HPS Plus ones, same frame as mine. For girl, is that the frame that you have on yours, the HPS Plus?
Yeah, this one's the HPS Plus coupe, I think is the frame or
Coupe.
whatever, but the lens is the
Coupe's
HPS
frame,
Plus.
yeah.
Super dark. I the one I wear, this is what I'll use under HPS. The ones I wear now are just they're like the
These are the
outdoor ones. They're
resistance
so just
twos,
UV.
right?
Look at Skilbo trying to read.
Yeah, they're resistance twos, man. I like these ones because they
LED
actually
style.
the sides on them actually do.
Make you look like the Terminator.
I'll
Those
be
are the ones
Bob.
I have, Skillbo. I like those.
Yeah, man.
I like them
got
for just
a bit of a
outdoor
head for
living
those.
too. They give a nice blue tint.
Gives me a little bit of a
Good sunshine.
really cool factor, just a little, not just biting his style.
We should all show up wearing these our sunglasses next week.
Well,
We'll
Spartan's
get
got 'em.
attention for Method 7.
Spartan's got dueling pairs, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, Spartan, you'll have to.
Man, they ship with these really
Sure,
cool
pair.
bags too.
Start the late
I
session.
love
Oh,
the
that way.
bags, dude.
Yeah,
They are cool, and in a hard case. Yep, those bags are
He
sweet.
has his.
There's
right
some
in front of him.
microfiber.
Yep.
I
Yeah,
like
man,
your
you got storm in
bags,
them.
Rolly.
Yeah, you store them in
Thanks,
them.
it's
And
kind of
then you
elongated,
use
but,
them. I use mine
it's
to wipe
colorful.
them off with while they're in the bag, before and after I use them.
What she said.
That's what I meant. But, No.
I was looking at your cat.
Show us your
fun.
eyewear.
Oh, there was the best
wow.
cat fight
Amazing.
pre-show, man.
Pretty nice.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Just got it stuffed.
Oh, I just got a glimpse of the mohawk. I forgot that was there.
Forgot.
Oh, it's Quibs. It's Quibbly.
Oh, little
He
buddy.
goes,
He's not thrilled about it. He just
Put
makes
me
noise
down.
all the time.
I want to go to sleep.
He looks
Yeah,
like
he's
a
well. I've got the heater going. It's he's kicking
He,
his.
he says, quack, 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 quack.
Yeah, I got the heater going, so he was sitting in my lap.
Oh, Frank. Sitting in
I was
shop
just
at
gonna say,
old
shout
Frank.
out to High and Type for missing the memo.
I've been in top chat the whole time with you, bud. Oops.
For Rolly's trolling you in live chat.
I don't think Red put up his fucking.
I actually just got
blamed
into
it
that
on-
chat as
I
well.
like. I'm not gonna show my phone. Well, it's just the show. Never mind. So, anyways, I like put up. I'm not gonna.
Red, what are you using on your phone that you don't want anybody to see?
It's
Nothing.
just
It's just the
chat.
show, but it's I've done it too many times. Like I've held up mail.
He's got his
I've held up
address right on the
credit
screen.
We
card.
remember we had that
God,
one
all the
time,
things I've
yeah.
held up. All right.
Oh,
Distract
live
Red,
chat.
distract.
Hang on. Let
Oh,
me
must
switch
be time for
mine.
a new
You
one.
gotta-
I showed up
You gotta
late.
take it down.
Now I know.
I shared my address.
Gotta
Don't worry, I
gotta
got
stop
it.
sharing my address. they had to help me. I screen shared my address one time. That was fun.
Shit got quiet real quick.
It was the funniest shit ever.
I
The video
remember that.
goes, Red goes, I wonder if my address is right here.
And then I scrolled right to it, and I scrolled.
"Yep,
to
it
it
is."
Like,
Shit.
oh fuck! I
Yep, it's right there.
Damn it!
It's like that is the dumbest shit I've ever
Screen
seen.
sharing. I couldn't grasp like the screen sharing thing. I was just
could
like,
see it
it was almost like I wanted to make sure that I
Yes.
could check that I like couldn't see it before you guys could see it, but in fact it was
Same
all
time.
Like you wish there was a
same timeline.
5-second delay where you
Yeah.
could look and see and then
Yeah.
scroll back up real quick.
Right.
No
right,
Oh my
right.
God, that was so
Yeah,
funny.
that was
Was
the
it-
thought in my mind.
Was it a autofill issue? Because I did that.
Yeah, it was like an order form.
No,
I was trying to
yeah,
get the
yeah,
harvest.
yeah.
It wasn't the freeze dryer.
It was.
Was
I
the-
think it was that. Yeah, I think it was the freeze dryer, and I had like.
He's like,
all
I
my
got it in my
information
cart
on
right
the
here. So he
freeze dryer.
scrolls to his cart. It was right there.
Whoops.
Damn it, Red.
He does a wonder if
Credit
my
card.
address
Totally
is still
forgot I
here.
had all
Oh
that
shit,
info.
it
I was
is.
like, fuck, dude, it's all in there. You guys are all gonna go.
Then he
see
got
it.
really
That
quiet. He goes, "Oh fuck, oh shit." Oh,
And he just ghosted everybody.
and he was
Yeah,
weird
that's
for like 10 minutes.
And I was
You
like
must
thinking
have
about. I was like, I
screenshots from the
totally
private
lost what
chat.
I was talking about. And like, I was
Should I
like,
start
I'm
heading north?
totally giving it away, right? Yeah, I'm just giving it away more and more and more.
It's gonna take me an hour and a half to get
Gonna
my
have to sell my house.
That's what
Can they
just
edit
happened
it?
when you flashed the address.
You guys gotta
Also,
edit.
just
Oh well,
not
that was
long
barely.
ago.
You couldn't even see it. Thankfully, I almost flashed an address with a piece of mail and some shit. No,
Show us a rock.
I'm always
Red.
checking
Show us a
mail.
rock. Distract us with a
Good, man.
Petoskey stone.
those are so far away. I
Carry
really
your
wish
camera
I
around your
don't
house,
have
Red.
anything.
He's probably got a picture of his social security card on the wall.
It's on the wall.
I got some cannabis seeds. These came out of some outdoor citrique, some citrique that I grew, which I believe has that lemon lime in it, or lemon lime,
Oh,
or maybe it's the
citrique.
lime.
Is that
skunk.
cut that Sequence has been wanting?
Yeah.
Lady.
Oh,
Not just, I
Wow.
mean, it's
It's
producing
Oh.
seed porn
seeds.
sequence.
She's got.
I think it's only been like I think he's only asked for like a year. It hasn't been that long.
More than
Probably
a
2
year.
years.
Dude, I'm
Yeah,
looking for
closer to
a
2.
solid 8-pack, and I can barely get 4 out of it. I'm trying
If we
to.
had abolished,
I
do
trust
nothing
me,
I'm
but
not
I
sure if
want-
I even want it. If
I
Red
want
can't
want
clone it.
clones as
We've
bad
talked
as he
about
does.
this. It would just be fucking like an 8-9 minute long clip of
I
just us
think-
razzing the fuck out of you about this Citrica.
I think that I want to find a male out of this bag, or continue on with the green room crosses. I really like the idea of having the CBD in the green room, and maybe using another one of those that grew outdoor a couple years ago as a male, because it's already like survived my outdoor climate, and so like maybe sort of stabilized my region. And then similarly with the citrique, but I really like the citrique line.
Sequence.
What's up?
Trying to bring it back to that seed talk.
Oh, good shit, man. Don't you love this being able to highlight comments shit? It's just like a subtle troll for you.
Oh, it's so good.
geez, Tara out there just swearing randomly in chat.
Wait, literally,
I
I could
swear,
take it
she's
right out
just
of
talking about
context.
ass in chat. You know, that's not
Talking
unusual
about
for Tara.
donkey.
Yes,
She's in the market.
Now everybody's getting in on it.
cake.
We love you, Tara.
By the beach.
She
Shredder
probably
mentioned-
couldn't see it anyway with her connection.
I like
with
Shredder.
that.
Oh, doubling down on the bad jokes against her. Come through tomorrow night at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the late sesh with me and Red Setter Farm and Spartan Grown and Painted Lady and Sequence. And.
Now that I figured out how to do I got just my ring light without these super bright lights. Now that I don't have the green screen, I'll probably use my video for tomorrow.
Right
Yeah,
on.
so-
Ego game.
Do your hair, baby.
Well, now that I
Garden,
it's
see that
blinding
mug?
those other lights.
I got that.
Shut.
Yeah, man. Cancer fight.
Show
It
off,
is
Red,
hot
show off.
cocoa season.
I believe
See, I
that's.
don't have that
Smiley
cool side.
That's
Mine's
what
got a
shit
pot
is.
leaf on one side and then the pinky and the brain on the other
Pinky and
side.
the brain.
It's definitely hot cocoa season.
That's what
I
we
had-
need
I
to
had
find
hot
out. We
tea
need
in
to we need to get high and find the best hot chocolate in Michigan.
There you go.
Wait,
What's your
That's a good one,
vote?
Vic. I like
That's
that.
hot
did you
Swiss
not
Miss?
see? Did you not see Kickstart's?
I
fundraiser?
saw that. I'll be trying to The
We'll get
coolest day
that.
of the week.
I approve that adventure, dude. I like that
Yeah.
adventure. Yeah.
Man, you guys must own that place by now.
I like
You and
that.
Baked.
We do.
Yeah, we do. We get to make our own
They're
shit.
on the wall.
Give them a plug.
Ooh,
That way you
I'm
can
surprised you're not
timestamp
trying
them
to date all the chicks in there.
Who says they
Who
are?
said they are?
Yeah.
All those ladies.
Why the hell wouldn't they?
Presumptuous of you,
We're trying to
Pink
get
Lady.
free.
Are
We're
you?
trying to
Oh,
get
They
free
make
teas.
delicious shakes.
I bet they're pinching their nugs.
And we're trying to get free shakes.
What was that,
Yeah,
Pink Lady?
I'm up to
We-
3 gummy worms at a time.
Yeah.
Bake, you're supposed to be trying to give them your gummy worm.
That's the goal. As
Dude,
soon as I
don't
get
give
to
me
like
any
5.
ideas. I eat
He's-
gummy
he's
worms.
working on
Get
his-
to turn them in.
He's working up to the 5, and he turns it in for his gummy worm.
That's
It's
not
like
just
a,
a-
it's like a punch
Nice,
card
nice.
system.
It's not a home run. It's a
It's a
grand
punch
slam.
card system.
Please don't, dude. You're gonna get
Your
me. I'm
sixth
gonna end
one's
up
on us.
eating. I'm gonna end
I
up eating
know,
half
and
a
I
bag of
want
gummy
some.
worms. Dude. We have an oversized bag of gummy worms.
As long as they're
in the
not
house.
sugar free, you're good.
It's been a real bad run with those things.
They're so good.
Yeah, they're way too good. They're not that sour, but like just sour enough.
Right on sugar.
Hey,
It's
can I
terrible.
totally
Dude, I'll eat 3 and I'll be like, oh shit, that's gonna hit me in like 3 minutes. And I'll feel it too. And I'll be like, fuck. Start feeling the anxiety hit me from the sugar, the caffeine, or
Speaking
whatever.
of
it is.
the
Hey,
speaking of the
wish
gummies,
it into existence.
Probably it.
Tara
It
was
is.
Tara had some of the Dicks, one of our sponsors gummies, and she had chocolate dipped Dicks, and she said she was eating chocolate dipped balls and dick tips today or something
Dick
like
tips.
that.
You've heard
So
of
shout
Rick
out
Tips,
to
here's
Tara.
Dick Tips.
Chocolate dick.
You can't
Chocolate
defend yourself
dick
because you're not on the show, so I just wanted
Say
to bring
that
that
5
out there.
times fast.
Chocolate dipped dick.
Dick
Right.
tips.
It's
How you
tough.
say?
Chocolate dip, dick tip.
Oh, tips and balls.
Tips
I
and
keep wanting to say
chocolate
I mean-
dipped
and balls.
Holy shit.
dicks and
Chocolate
balls.
dipped tips and
Oh,
balls.
right.
Variety is the
Get a hold
spice
of Tara
life.
and she'll hook you
Right.
up
That's
with
terrible,
chocolate
Dean.
dipped
It's so hard to
dicks and
say.
balls.
So fucking.
They should
dip-
take that at the end, right before the chocolate hardens, and sprinkle in some coarse salt. Oh, that'd be so awesome.
Painted
Remember
Lady
that
makes
magic
chocolate
shells
chip
you
cookies
get?
and salsa.
Are you
Yes, I
suggesting
do
salty,
love
are you
magic
suggesting
shell.
salty balls?
Magic shell.
Spartan's gonna
Yeah, man.
retire with like a bakery.
Stuck on my chocolate salty balls.
he does.
Did you just suggest
That was what I was
Chocolate
thinking.
balls.
Yeah,
chocolate
that's what I
salty
was thinking.
balls?
You could have a song to go with it.
Throwback South Park episode. Suck on my chocolate salty balls. Everybody should
Make sure there's
YouTube,
extra
YouTube
salt
that.
on
I like
Music
Tara's
video after
comment.
this. Tara's chocolate salty balls. There you go. I like it.
The salt is key.
with absolutely no time left on the clock, can I completely change topics and ask what you guys
You got
use
3
to
minutes. Let's go.
what do you guys use to do your video editing? Because I've been using Adobe CS5 since I bought it like 12 years ago, and I finally decided to because I couldn't transfer the license from one computer to this one, which has way better hardware in it. I decided to just go ahead and pay for a subscription to Adobe Premiere to do some video editing, and I cut up a bunch of these videos from Hawaii and everything. And
Right.
what's like the same
You want
video
an
that was
answer?
taking me 3 hours is now taking me 7 minutes to render.
Oh,
It's
nice.
insane.
Yeah, buddy.
Whoa.
I use Premiere. I like it. It's like the golden standard.
We use DaVinci.
Yeah, I like
Blackmagic
DaVinci a lot.
It's free, and that's what most of the pro companies will use.
I almost went down that road, but I was so familiar with Adobe and it's so afraid after 10 to 12 years or whatever of
Yeah.
using
Yeah.
it that it was going to be so different, which is a big reason why I held off. Also, I hate
I
the subscription
imagine it's
model.
really similar. I love
Dude,
your really
It's
fast.
unreal. It's unreal. So, I mean, right clicking to import and, zooming in and out, although the mouse wheel's inversed, which is weird, but zooming in and out on the timeline
You
and
can probably
everything.
change it.
Probably, but
It's been that way for 12 years. Don't fuck with it now.
If you haven't
was
checked out DaVinci in a while, they just did a major overhaul on the actual program. It's really, really nice. All the stuff they added in it.
Super
It's a lot
powerful
easier.
for free.
Yeah, I
That's
couldn't
it.
imagine the pay version
Really
of it.
good.
I got Final Cut only because it came with it was hardware that could come, or I'm sorry, software that could come with the computer. It was like I obviously had to pay for it, but they installed it, and it's just gonna come, but it's coming with the new computer for that. But that was Final Cut. Is that it? Final Cut
When
Pro.
is it coming, Rod?
Final Cut Pro. A couple weeks. I got a 16 gig, so hopefully I'll be able to have a
What
little
cut
bit
was
better.
Was it the first cut?
The
or was it
clock watching
final cut?
begins.
The
30
third
seconds.
cut, the second. At least it's at least a second cut. Maybe two cuts. Two cuts.
Over under on red.
One cut, two cut, three
Is he
cut,
gonna make it?
blue cut.
Will I have to tell him to shut up again? No. Or not?
You didn't tell me to shut up the first time. You can't tell me.
No,
To
like just every show.
Oh, shut up! I'll say it to myself. Shut up, Red.
Wow.
I like that
You've
view.
got
That was
another-
Late Sessions tomorrow night,
formation.
11 p.m.
Yeah,
Eastern
that's
Standard
right.
Time.
I like
Cheers,
this
everybody.
one. This is kind of cool.
It's like a news channel.
Dun, 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 dun,
Hilarious
dun, dun,
science.
dun, dun,
No,
dun.
you're